you,
And
sons.
we are live.
Happy New
Happy New Year! 3, 2, 1.
Oh.
Yay. 2200.
Two.
Yeah, man,
That's
fine.
fine.
New decade.
2200.
Yeah!
I could do like this if you want.
I just zoomed in our product image there. But
2-0. Donut hole.
Those are rad.
Yeah.
What the
Is that
fuck?
what you call that?
Although I do love the memes where it's like 20 NB or 20 like 20 like trans teen.
How much are they?
Yeah.
You know, because there was 20 gay teen, 20 bi teen,
I was
and
wondering
then
what points. Okay,
yeah,
good to
so
know.
2020 is.
I see what's going on. I
Yeah.
see it.
What is it? The new one? 20 trans teen?
There's like 20, yeah, there's that, or there's like 20 NB, like NB, the nickname
Yeah,
for
yeah,
non-binary, or there's 20 T.
20T. I
Yeah,
like
for
it.
the T.
Nice.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, hello everybody and welcome back. It's good to
Hi.
be sitting back at the table after
Yeah, I
2
missed y'all.
weeks without TNT.
Yeah, it feels really weird.
Too
It
long.
really does.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing.
I feel like I'm from a high school
Not
reunion.
okay.
Yeah, there's gonna be some stumbling.
So what are you up to now?
What have we all been
Do you
doing?
have kids?
We all separated
Oh my
in
God.
the temple, and we've all just been living our lives the past 10 years, not being able to
In
escape.
Barovia.
Yeah,
I haven't
Yeah,
seen
we're
you in
just
so
like-
long! Have you
Like,
escaped the
outside.
temple yet?
You in
No.
7 years.
Realistically, what would we have all been doing?
I had the doctor made a
Oh, I don't
fortress in
wanna-
the cold and southern west part of the temple.
For,
Made out of zombie bones, I heard.
it's true. He introduced the people of Barovia to the basketball, which I'm a fan of now.
The baskets of ball. And my voice sounds like this for no reason.
cool.
That's
There's a
So,
reason.
we're
Okay.
in the Ember Temple.
Yes, let's go.
Wow.
Someone wants to get to it!
We do have some minor announcements, just some
Yeah?
like cool, because we haven't done a stream since Christmas, and so we have some new tech pieces. I don't know if everybody's noticed, but we finally have
Yeah.
our super special battle cam, which I'll swap to right now.
Battle cam!
Yeah, it's live.
Now you can actually see the stuff that we print on our 3D
Where
printer.
were we? It's the carrot cam.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's we're like, ooh.
Put our people on.
Ooh,
I don't know why I put myself on the wall. I was like,
Oh yeah. Well, I'm on like the twisty, turny
Yeah.
one.
The Twitch.
Yeah. So yeah, so
Turning
we've got
pedestal.
a third camera finally, and it's super exciting.
Yes.
Everybody's really happy about
Yeah.
it. And
Can't
It's
make
gonna
a
be
decision,
great.
So I'm just
All
gonna
the
keep
crea-
going.
all the
Send it to
creation.
the page,
Just
and
keep
we'll put a
twirling,
fourth
twirling.
camera.
fourth camera's gonna go right here, and it's gonna look at me.
Yeah.
Oh, this what?
Yo, the fourth camera's gonna be the foot camera.
Yeah.
It's
Wait.
the under
See all
the
the
table.
footage.
That's
Yeah.
one way
Right.
to tap into a
See
new
all the
audience.
footsie.
I've
See
learned
Foot
all
cam.
about this shit.
Seeing all the
Oh my
footsie.
god. Oh.
The other one, which
It's good
is
to see
very
me
exciting
stub
as
my
well,
foot.
but unfortunately Jordy was a dumbass, is
Never.
we finally have a second microphone, which is for me, which goes right here, but I forgot the cable that makes it work.
Oh,
Well,
And I'm smart. And I decided to bring steaks for friends instead of a cable.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we had steaks. For the
you
meeting.
raise the stakes every
I
week.
did.
Oh.
Whoa.
that
You
work out
kiss that.
But yeah, it's exciting to be back.
the
and so we've
reception of
got-
that one
Word
seems
life
medium.
Yeah,
Thank you, I
we're
agree.
stoked on it all. So,
Okay.
jumping
Sucking up too much
right
to
in,
that.
because we want to
Yeah.
get as
Rare.
much
Wait,
done as we
Does
possibly
anybody
can.
have anything they want to announce, you guys,
That
before,
is well
before we jump in? I don't. I'm just giving people the option.
No.
I'm gonna be, well, I mean, I feel like this is hopefully exciting that I will be like, I have a drag show soon. But I do also have a drag show coming up where I'm gonna be reading the erotic fanfic that I wrote for
Yeah.
Content Warning as a sexy beatnik for Commercial Drag All Stars.
Very
Another
nice.
little mini drag
Can
competition.
we come
I'm
and like
in.
snap our fingers?
Fuck yes, please do. It's going to be on not this Sunday, but the following, so the 19th at the London Pub. Doors 8 p.m. Show 9:30, and it's going to be cute. And it's your knickers might be wet by the end of the performance. So.
Good to
Mine
know.
are always
Are you
wet.
saying there's a splash zone?
Oh, yeah.
Very
Are you
good.
gonna spill drinks on us?
Yeah, basements are going to get ruined.
Oh. It's gonna be terrible.
Dude,
Without further
flooding.
ado, we'll go ahead and jump right into our intro and then pick up
The basement busters.
Yo, I've said.
liquid?
should figure out like.
Is it slurm? Like,
And we are back.
Yeah.
Hi.
Maybe this right here is like
The Strahd fight.
black,
Yeah.
so it could
So
still
excited.
swirl.
Yeah.
but-
We're just gonna define ourselves
So-
with this one guy. We can
Diving right in.
Yes.
Oh my god.
You know, like
we're
I
gonna
use-
get all
Recap,
silly if we
recap,
don't.
please.
Yeah.
Please
Yeah,
recap.
you're gonna need to rein us in today, I think.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, we're
will
too
do
excited.
just
Joyful.
that.
Oh my god.
So, Amber Temple.
Yeah, none of these are like
You're right.
together,
Thought
so
we
just
were
have
in
to
the
be,
White House
it
because
was-
we're a
it was
bunch of
kinda like-
clowns.
Whoa!
Picking up where we last left off.
Amber.
The party had made their way through, finally passing in through the doors of the Amber Temple and feeling a little more confident than last time. A series of skirmishes ensued, one with the despicable character Rahadin, whose backstory was told to you by
Fuck Rahad.
your ally, Casimir. Passing through an underground chamber, Casimir placed his hand upon an amber block and began to wither away in front of you, apparently accepting some kind of a dark gift, the ability to revive a long-dead person. Entity of some kind. Afterwards, a few vampire spawn popped out of a series of crates within the same room, and in comparison to your previous encounters with those vampire spawn, were dispatched without much of an issue. Apparently, the weaponry and the abilities of your party now being more than a match for the once terrifying figures. However, making your way upstairs, you found a gigantic library, hundreds of books on the walls. Opening up the books, trying to find any information, and you found all the pages, all the spines, all the
Oh, yeah.
covers were blank.
We found a dead guy.
You did. Passing through a secret
Did
door.
find a dead guy.
He's not dead. He's fine.
Wait,
Okay.
Dave?
I already broke
Yeah,
my
Dave.
resolution to be calm.
A secret door from the library. You did find yourself face to face with a skeleton, speaking to you,
Mr.
seemingly
Bones.
somewhat confused, not knowing his
The
name,
Bone Busters.
anything about himself.
He kept
just
asking, "What's
in
this? What's this?"
Tattered robes.
Bone
Kept
Patrol.
asking
There's
what his
music
name was and if certain things that you were mentioning were your friends. But no matter, you managed to pass through the chamber seemingly unharmed, leaving the entity that you now recognized as a lich, although some form of a lich, clearly not a fully capable one.
His name is Dave, and he's our friend.
You open up a secret door, found hundreds of tumbling skulls coming, collapsing out from within that, pulling your way through a very interesting, intriguing chest locked to the roof 15 feet up that you managed to pass by, a statue that appeared to draw somebody's eyes in, forcing them to kneel in supplication in front of it, and then eventually through a door back into the main chamber on the second floor, whereupon you found a room that you had not yet explored with an interesting jug in the center of the table.
We're the
my
jug
God.
hunters.
Yeah.
With everybody outside the room, Les casting Mage Hand inside, picking the jug up off the table that was once adorned with immaculate food and amazing smells of all these different pieces. All of it vanished in an instant, instead coalescing into 5 shadowy figures
Where the jug
that
was.
took place at seats beside the table.
How dare you?
All of you standing outside the room seemed unaffected, but the shadows remained seated in the chairs. So, that's where we pick up today.
Cool.
So we just like looked out and we saw these things.
So you're outside the room, you
Okay.
looked in, Les cast Mage Hand, picked up the jug. The entire feast became 5 shadows that sat down at 5 chairs
Okay.
around the table.
Wait, they're sat at the chairs?
So there's
Which is the room? Sorry.
So you guys are
Jug
out
of
front.
wine.
So this is where you are.
Yeah,
this is the
this is
room.
the room.
And in the center of the room, they're just kind of
Okay.
seated around
Cool.
this.
I'm gonna walk away. Let's close the door.
What's the secret door? You can just lift the door right out.
Yeah.
You should just lift off.
Sorry,
Okay.
is there any way? Can we get to the entrance, or is this like?
Okay, hang on.
Can
Before
we
we
just
just,
go back?
what do the shadows look like?
Are humanoid?
Can we see any details on them?
No details of any kind that you can see.
I mean, we killed shadows before. Why don't we just engage with them? If they are they attacking us? Are they making any move towards us?
They just appear to be seated in the chairs. The jug is kind of hovering over the center of the table.
Why don't you try and lure bring the jug back to us? Let's see what happens.
Yeah, do it, Les. I believe in you.
Wait, am I in the room?
No,
You're
you're.
using Mage Hand.
You're using Mage Hand outside the room, and
Right.
you lifted the jug up,
That's what I did.
and you can control the Mage Hand now.
Right.
We're swing it around.
So do we want this jug?
It's like
Yes.
a Wii
Yes, we
remote.
do.
All right. I'm just gonna slowly
us
with
the
my
jug.
crab claw mage hand,
Oh yeah, it's a crab claw.
just and just slowly bring it towards us.
Comes to you with no issue, passes beyond the doorway. Shadow still remains seated.
Cool.
I
Let's
hand
go
it to the doctor.
Thank you.
Doctor, you have the jug of wine.
Why don't we
Hooray.
get? I want to say something to them. We got really interesting information at the at Argonville stole from Shadows by talking with them. If they haven't attacked us.
Wait, sorry. Which shadows did we talk to?
Argenvost.
The
So-
Big boy.
Knights.
As
They're
Argenvost,
actually-
you spoke to revenants.
Okay.
No.
Skeletal figures clad in armor. This is just shadowy wisps of black smoke.
We fought
It's
these
closer
in,
to what you saw on the bridge coming over here.
We fought these in
Oh, the thing
Death
that-
House, right?
Yeah, you fought a few of these in the
Yeah.
Death House as well.
They're
Okay,
annoying
so
as
I know
fuck.
Thank you.
definitively from
Memory.
past experience that these things are usually like
Most
aggressive.
likely malevolent spirits of some kind. Usually, you do know they tend to be confined to a room. So with all of you standing outside the room,
Close
it makes
that
sense
fucking
that
door.
they're not doing anything.
Door closed. Let's keep
Hi.
walking.
Alright. So,
Ding, 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 ding,
the
ding.
only way that you can continue from here would be to walk into the hallway with the two flame skulls that you know are there. And you can see the lit flames underneath that. That's on this side
That
of
would
the
take
wall.
us back to the entrance pretty quick, though.
No, there's another hallway leading off of the chambers near to next to where we found Dave that we didn't explore.
Couldn't we just
Leading
go
down,
back?
leading down.
Oh, this makes
Yeah,
sense.
so that
I
was the
missed out
one.
the last
So
part
that
of
one was.
the
I will
last
say that
Sorry.
we briefly discussed that. It's a staircase heading down. You would judge by the height of the staircase how much it drops.
okay.
It drops you out right behind the statue.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there wasn't
really.
anywhere else left to go.
So what you haven't explored yet is the main floor. You've done the main area, but there's two huge hallways that are going off of that,
Okay.
as well as a set of double doors on the far side. So essentially, when you walk in the balcony, if you look down over the area, directly below you,
right.
there's a big set of double doors.
I remember that.
So you've got 3 more ways that you can go there, and no one's actually climbed into in any way the statue itself.
Okay.
You know that the creature was in there, but you haven't been able to get into
I
it.
poked him with my stick.
You
How
did,
is
and then you promptly
Your ass
passed out.
hung out.
That's
everyone
right, I did.
feeling?
It was too
I'm
much.
all right.
I'm doing okay.
Not feeling 100%, but I've got a few spells left for the day before I'm too weary and I'm not feeling too injured.
Sorry, I'm remembering more stuff.
I
yeah.
remember more things.
Last time I forgot my shit. So, and I had like a version, but I don't think I have that version because I left early. So
Did you leave it here?
I feel like I would have
Did
left
you
it
get
here.
injured?
I don't.
I don't think.
I think
no,
you
I
were.
Hope's fine.
I didn't think you had your stuff last session.
I think
Yeah.
because you ended up rolling a good chunk of your hit dice when you guys took the rest, I'm going to say you were at full health, but you have 1 hit die left.
Whoa, did I?
I think so, because
Yeah, I think you rolled a few.
because you definitely rolled a few when we took the short rest from the main fight when you guys when you had your whole experience and you had all of your conversations with the dead guys.
Oh, yeah.
I rolled a few too. I don't have all my hit dice either.
Ah, okay. Let's see.
I think that's you, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is
okay.
me. Yeah. So yeah, I have 6 hit die, and I can see what my current hit
Yeah,
points.
so there you go. So we'll let you figure out that.
Okay, so
No worries.
yeah, I'm not like
Thanks, man.
I'm physically I'm not that hurt, but I'm not gonna be able to do much. I'm really tapped on spells. I've got one saved in case anyone goes
Right.
down, but
Here's my thinking. We could cross back through the main area, but then we open ourselves up to being barraged by these flame skulls from up here. If we play this smart, perhaps use some of those Triton things you keep talking about,
Oh yeah, trying things are helpful.
that we could potentially just open these doors, take the guys out, and keep walking. We know they're not particularly strong; they just hit
Shadows?
hard. No, not the shadows, the flame skulls.
The
There's
flame
only-
scully, flamey.
Because I killed one of them.
The other thing is we can. I mean, I have enough spells saved up that we could do pass without trace to move through the main chamber and try to sort of just be quiet while we sneak past them towards the double doors.
Yeah.
aren't we outrunning them before?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind taking a peek in whatever rooms are beyond here myself, but I also am concerned that if we go through the main floor, we're just walking back into the kill box. Because
So the
we didn't
reason-
kill the skulls on the other
But
side.
the reason it was so devastating to us when we opened up the chamber the first time we visited was because they had unfettered access to us and they could fire off as many times as they want. When we're in the main chamber, yes, they can fire at us, but they still have to look through the slats. So they can
But
only.
we can go underneath them, right?
Yeah. We can go
No,
to
we can't.
areas.
We can go underneath the one, but the rest of the walls are open.
Do
Then there's
we-
skulls on either side.
We only have them left on one side, right?
Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
They were only ever on one side. There was 3 of them. You eliminated one. There are 2 remaining,
Yeah.
and you can see the flames licking under the door. So you know that they're there.
With our understanding of the angles of those slats, do we fathom that we could walk close enough to the wall that they
Easily.
can't?
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
the slits are only about this wide.
Yeah.
Right? And they're about
Yeah.
that high.
Yeah,
So,
so they
there,
can't-
there isn't a way for them to look probably... You probably have 15, 20 feet out underneath that they wouldn't be able to see you.
Right. Okay.
So we could go back.
The main
down
chamber
the
is, give or
stairs
take, 10, 20, 30, 40, about 100 feet across. So you could make it a good chunk of the way out, like walking 3 astride underneath them and feel like you'd be
Okay.
totally fine.
Well, I think better safe than sorry. If we go after these right now, we probably won't have the strength to
Yeah, I agree.
tackle anything else left in this place. And for what it's worth, there may be more things that will aid us in the fight against Strahd.
Might be some shit on the way out. That bird's out there.
Well, that man that you shot in the
Rashad?
back of the head, he was heading out the door, wasn't he? Isn't that a pathway to get out of the temple as well?
Oh, I
Yeah,
think it was
he
the
passed.
one that
He
came in.
he quickly passed by where the skulls were firing now, but because the battle was still raging down the main part, they were distracted by that.
And he also seemed to have been like a friend to the temple.
Yeah, he didn't really.
Who's
Yeah,
to say?
frequent
But
flyer
I mean, he was
Yeah.
he was very quick, and
That a punch.
Like I
Just
said, they were
a
better
side note
targets.
as well, because it was a while ago. When you walked down that hallway before you had the fight with the Amber Golem on the top area where it was all cracked, there was another door on the opposite side, same hallway as where the flame skulls
That's
are,
right.
that you never ended up checking out. You just walked right past it because you didn't want to dive in there.
That's good.
So
Yeah.
you got one thing on the top floor that you know is there. You've got the Lich in his library, and then on the right side, the Flame Skull hallway. You have no idea what's in that. And then the bottom floor is a nice easy one. Think of a cross. This is where the statue is. Each of the other ways are pathways that you haven't taken yet. So you've got 3 other paths that you can take.
I think we should maybe kill that top floor smaller thing and then head down to the main floor to check out what's down there.
Which top floor smaller thing?
The door we never went into by the
I mistook kill for murder.
No, like
Oh,
Do we? Is there a way? Do we think that we could, like, take some time and rest so that we're feeling a little bit more?
Yeah, if I were to say how I'm looking, I'm like 50%.
I think
Right, and with
for me it would have to be a long. Like we'd have to be kicking here for 8 hours. Quite honestly,
Take a little nappy poo in one of these rooms.
Yeah. By this point, you get inside. You don't really know what time it is outside.
We're all fucked up.
I'll say make an intelligence check.
Or I might be able to assist because I've been outside the doors most recently.
Oh, you're right. Actually, you had.
So I could have seen the sun.
So you went out before you took the short rest, with all the time spent elsewhere, the amount of time that you've been in. You would guess it would probably be closing in on mid-afternoon, 3 o'clock.
It's not really time for bed yet, I don't think.
It's not our
time for
bedtime
bed.
It might be less this
But
beddy
it
boy
is
time, but
still-
I don't know.
It's something where like you could be outside just not doing anything, but you don't get the benefits of a long rest until you sleep.
It's very hard to sleep underwater unless you tried it.
no.
No, it's hard.
Well, I
Floating
think
up there.
Like I don't know, guys.
Chains
If these spirits are like similar to the ones we fought way back when in Death House, I'm not like crazy afraid of them.
The shadows?
Yeah,
Do
those
we
are
think
But there's
it's-
no point fighting them. They're just fucking
isn't
mysteries.
this room self-enclosed, or does it seem like the room? Yeah, so there's nothing else in the room.
There's
No,
just
but
a set
if
of doors
we-
that you've closed the doors off, and the shadows are just in the room.
But if we needed a place to say, hole up for 8 hours, I don't think we should take a long rest at this point. But if the group consensus is we do,
I mean, I think we found other rooms as well. There was one near the entrance that we could go back to that we know is safe. We don't have to kill anything to get the one where we found the body the first time we came in.
Yeah. I think that if we want to stay and explore more of the temple, I think that this place has a lot of potential to be disastrous and taxing on us. And I think if we are going to explore more, we should have a long rest and then explore more, or we should leave. That would be my
Should we put
opinion.
it to a
Do we
vote
want
to
to-
see who wants to stay, who wants to go?
Or we could, I propose we maybe check out that one door up in the top part that we missed the last when we came around the first time, and then perhaps rest after that before we attempt any larger areas on the main floor.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Cool.
And should we run into any significant amounts of danger, we can always beat an expeditious retreat. I've got enough spells to try and get us out of here.
I've got
quickly.
my spells.
And
I'm
that'll
in
make us
good health.
I've got
close
some.
enough to the door. As
Exactly,
well.
it's closer.
Yeah. Okay.
Rather than being
I-
further into the heart of this temple.
Yeah, I don't think we should go any further in without a rest. Personally, I think that.
Yeah.
We're like looping back, right?
We are looping back.
Okay.
We'd be looping back anyways, but
Yeah.
Allura's got a point that if we enter into other parts
Oh,
leading
yeah,
off of
no.
the main part of the temple, we could easily be kind of
Yeah.
in another maze-like area without really attending it.
Yeah, no, I agree. Sounds good. So,
Alright.
Alright, so we'll loop around in the safe... I have a hard time visualizing everything.
I have no
Not that I'm
idea.
expecting Jordy for you to make like a huge 3D map or anything, but just
Okay.
like we'll loop around the safest route that we can back to that unopened door near where we found that golem in the top part.
Yep.
Yeah.
So from where you are now, there's a doorway out the side here. That leads into the little room that previously held all the skulls. You pass through that, you're inside the Lich's bedchamber. All the decrepit clothes and rotting furnishings. Still very regal, but...
can we close the door, make sure Dave's just enclosed?
Well, Dave is currently in the library.
Oh,
You have to guide him back into his bedroom if you want.
And there's that weird little chest up on the ceiling that we never
There is the
touched.
weird little chest
I think that
15 feet off the
We
ground.
think we figured
Established.
out what that was, didn't we?
Yeah, that was
We
me.
thought it might be containing the Lich's like memory or something.
Phylactery.
I think we should probably leave
That was me.
there.
That was us on Slack.
That was some metagaming.
Is that metagaming? We were just talking
Yeah,
about
it's true.
That's what we said last time when we
don't know
saw
what
it.
it is.
We don't know what anything is.
Anyway, yeah, let's try and guide Dave back. Dave, it's time to go back in your room now. Like, bring him back in there and.
Who are you?
Oh, fuck. Hey, Dave.
We met just a little while ago. You don't remember us? It's alright, we're
What did you
friends.
call me?
We found your memory. It's in that room over there.
My memory.
Yeah,
You found my memory.
I did. It's in that room over there. You should
He
go
just,
in there and get it.
He follows your
I
finger
am
and looks over the
100%
room
just still
and just
walking.
starts to
I'm gonna
slowly
let Les
glide
do this
over
bit
there
on his own.
and just passes through into the room.
Maybe close that door because he might actually find his memory if since you told him it was a thing.
All right. Close the door.
So it's just a secret door. You manage to pull it across again. No issues.
Alright,
And
bye,
he just
Dave.
turns around and goes, wait. And then the door closes.
Dave is gonna be the big bad.
Yes, please.
I feel bad for Dave.
I do too.
I
I
miss
do
him.
We're
not.
taking advantage of an elder.
Nice people don't turn into liches.
Yeah, this is elder abuse.
So the one thing is that you don't know how to get from here to where that area is because you came up the stairs from the bottom area below. So you'd have to descend down the stairs. Do you want to take the staircase that you haven't been down yet that drops you out, you think, behind the statue? Or do you want to take the path that you know, which is going to take a little while longer to go back through?
Let's do one we don't know. That's
I'm fine with that. I don't mind going first and kind of scouting ahead a little bit if we need
I'll
to.
join.
Okay. So your dark vision passing through, making your way down to the bottom of the stairs. From this side, you actually see there's a very
think
clear
you're leaving.
lever. Being able to open a secret door. Pulling the lever down, door rumbles aside. You see the back of the statue looking up at the bottom center
Does
area.
anything seem to have changed since we were here last?
Changed?
Before we step outside? Yeah,
Make a
anything.
perception check.
Can I assist?
Sure. So at advantage.
It's all different.
17.
17? Best you can tell, looks pretty much the same. You kind of warily look out a little bit, make sure that you're not drawing any attention from the flame skulls.
Yeah.
They
We're
seem to
behind
be-
the big statue in the main hall, yeah?
Yep.
The one
Right,
that the
see if I
furry
can
was
find a
in.
way in.
Sure. Go ahead and make an investigation check.
Okay. Nat 20.
Hey.
Nice.
So
Hey,
you
is that the
climb up
first
to the
roll of
top.
the new year?
That's yours.
Second.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
First
So
roll
first
for you.
nat 20.
You managed to find your way up to the top. So what's the total investigation?
Oh, that's a 29.
29. Okay. So it was tough. It was a 25 DC.
Oh.
But you do find your way up to the top. You find there's some kind of awkward footholds and handholds, but you do eventually climb up, and you actually find that there are two very specific holes about that big around. And you kind of look at them a little bit and realize that one of them has a depression into it, and you can actually push that, and it opens up the side, the back of it, and you almost get blown backwards off of it as it kind of cantilevers open, and you're able to step inside. Looking in, you do actually also see that there's a discarded robe on the ground.
Ooh, I want to look at the robe.
Okay. The robe has got, it looks tattered, very well used. But the interesting thing is it's got a series of stitched on patches that are all of different colors and of different pieces of
Is
ornate
it red and
jewelry
yellow
on
and
there.
purple and gold and ochre and anyway.
It's a series of different colors. Some of them have got like a moon on them. A couple of them have got larger flame pieces. A couple of them have just got golden symbols on
Cool.
them.
I'm gonna throw it on.
Does the robe have any fox fur all over it?
It fits very loosely.
I'm
For
little,
you,
it's
it
fine.
looks shambly almost. Like it is not appealing by any stretch, but it's interesting.
Does it anything magic-y about it?
Make an Arcana check.
Does it look like anything we would have seen on Brictavio in the brief time that we would have seen him?
That's
make a
an-
history check. Try to remember.
That's an unnatural 20.
Unnatural 20? Maybe? I mean, if it's magical, you've not seen anything like it. It's weird. It's a mage's robe. Like it
No,
was
I don't think you're
potentially
here for
worn
this.
by a mage, but you're not sure.
7.
7. He was always very well dressed.
Right.
Nothing tattered. Nothing looked like it was out of place in any way. He was very particular about.
I didn't mean necessarily the actual article of clothing. I meant the symbols that are all over it. But
Yes, again, same
Yeah.
thing. Very, very shabby, very shoddy. It doesn't look like it's something that someone would discard without a second thought.
right.
Cool.
So
Yeah, I'm wearing it.
Okay. So you see the doctor clamber back down, wearing this very strange looking, like whitish and yellowed robe. Like it looks like it's almost been peed on a little bit.
It's fine.
No smells to it of any kind. It smells like fresh linen.
It's avant-garde.
but-
It's
No
fine.
shame.
Yeah, it's a
Derelict.
It's definitely an odd one.
A
to
little
say the
less
least.
dapper than we're used to seeing a doctor.
Well, you know,
It's like a bathrobe.
sometimes new year, new me.
So you are
been
down in the
like
main
5
area now. The
minutes.
only way that you would know to get back up to that top area would be to pass through the center of the room, up the 2 banisters, and then eventually make your way back around.
Okay,
that
I
side.
think that's what we gotta do.
Okay. So knowing the view that you would imagine where the flame skulls are, nice and quiet. I'll just get everybody to roll stealth checks for me, please.
Yeah.
Stealth check.
Oh wait, that's at disadvantage.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Oh, fuck.
I'm alright.
Crud.
Not the worst.
Tried to tell you. we
Mine
could
was
just
not
kill him.
great.
All right.
You still have
13.
13.
Well, I rolled a not 20 and a free, so it's a 5.
5.
I got
Fuck.
a 12.
Yeah.
19.
19.
10.
10.
Oh my god, I think we failed this.
We could
You
have done the murder.
start to realize that you're crunching a little bit. The lack of light, trying to stay out of vision of the flame skulls.
Fuck.
Doing as best you can to stay out of sight. But you do hear, as you pass by the larger opening on the right-hand side, which none of you have really been by yet, you hear these strange little chittering sounds coming from within that area. Looking in, you don't particularly see anything of interest. You see a couple of doors that are in plain view, but beyond that, you're not quite sure. But there's that odd little chittering sound. It doesn't get louder, but you pass by, and eventually you're at the bottom of the staircase, and the chittering sound is gone at that point. And begin to make your way up the staircase.
Shittery. Let's go back.
Does it sound like anything any of us have heard before?
Yeah.
Not particularly. Nothing natural.
Oh, okay,
Does it sound
that's
mechanical?
No, not mechanical. Like
Okay.
chittering is as if it may be like
Bugs.
chittering of insects,
No.
and yet somehow definitely not.
I don't like the sounds of that. Let's just keep going forward.
Feels like some kind of like Jumanji.
Yeah, I don't want
Level.
that shit.
So making your way back up.
What's a Jumanji?
You're now essentially back at the entrance of the Amber Temple. So you take the same path that you took off the
Hey, let's
right-hand
leave.
side. You've got that large hole in the ground where you know there are a couple of flame skulls there. So again, nice and quietly try to make your way past that, and eventually into the hallway where you've got a single door on your right-hand side.
Oh, it was closed, right?
It was closed. Yeah.
Okay. I know we did this before, but I'm just going to listen at it quickly.
Can I cast guidance on Elise?
You can make a perception check.
Let's make like a furbolg and leave.
That's what I want to get the fuck out of here.
13.
13. No sound, as best you can tell.
and leaf.
Yeah.
Been working on my jokes.
For all year.
Bringing some back. Trying jokes on us funny.
Last year.
Follow your heart.
New year, new you.
Yeah. All right. I'll maybe. Who's not feeling super hot right now?
Me.
I'm doing
Maybe
pretty
Hope
well.
stands back a little bit, and I'm just gonna sort of crack the door open and look in.
Okay.
Wait. Sorry. I'm gonna check for traps first.
Okay. Check for traps.
I would guide that as
We have a bunch of ethereal hands that
Can I assist?
things.
Sure. At advantage.
Okay, cool. Which track is this again? Sorry.
This is
it deduction again?
Investigation.
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 Okay, it's gonna be 25.
25. Best you can tell, door's untrapped.
Perfect. Or the flagstones.
Sure.
The surrounding
I'll say,
area
I'll say for
around
future
the door.
reference.
You did this.
I
Now
did.
for the rest of the campaign, I'm like, and the bottom. Okay. Okay, great. So I'll open the door. Okay.
Cobweb that's hanging over the
In stark contrast to what you've seen so far, this chamber is brightly lit by
What?
red copper horns hanging from the ceiling, each of which seem to be filled with an ever-present soft light source.
Oh.
The walls are sheathed in amber, but you see that it's been shaped into reliefs of wizards with spell books, rather than remaining glossy and smooth like the rest of the chambers. Stairs to the north and south each descend 20 feet to an obsidian lectern, behind which is a slab of black slate, and it hangs from a series of thick chains. Between the seats of chairs are descending rows of red marble benches, essentially think amphitheater looking down, at the center of this with a gigantic obsidian slate in the
I see.
bottom area where the lectern is.
So you're saying the room is horny?
It is fairly horny.
Does the slate look like the thing that Casimir touched that gave him creepy
It looks
dead hand powers?
very different. The other ones being gigantic slabs of incredibly smooth amber. This is somewhat jagged obsidian, definitely different material.
Doctor, do you want to take a look in this room?
Yeah, I'll
This
take
looks,
a
this looks like your jam.
I'll take a peek in there.
Kind of like
Police
the black
seems like
obsidian
this.
scepter that I have in my bag.
Sorry?
Is it similar to the black obsidian scepter that
Same coloring, same material, but
like
substantially
same,
larger.
Right, same material though?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's obsidian.
There must be an obsidian mine near here.
What are everybody's passive perceptions?
Oh.
17.
Yes.
11.
What's base perception? It's 12.
It's 10 plus your perception modifier.
Very good.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Then mine. Oh no, wait, mine's modified. Never mind.
Yours is modified.
It's 15.
But it's actually it is up one. So okay, wait, sorry.
So for you get a +5 bonus
Uh-huh.
for alert. So it's 10 plus your perception modifier plus 5.
10.
I see.
My perception
got
modifier. plus
13.
five.
At least
Yeah.
21.
I think I should be more than I'm currently having it.
Yeah, you gotta be at
Hang
least.
on.
So for you, 15
Yeah.
plus your wisdom plus your proficiency bonus.
Okay.
Or sorry, if you're proficient in perception.
I am.
Yeah.
So 15 plus wisdom bonus plus proficiency bonus.
Correct.
I've been having it at 17, but it should actually be like 21.
Okay, so 21.
17.
17. Okay.
17 for me too.
Yeah, so
17 for you as well. Really?
Perception.
Oh, sorry, 23.
Got it. Wisdom here with the red dot. 3 plus that plus 10.
Oh yeah.
I'm
Plus
very
your
perceptive.
Plus your proficiency
Well, no.
bonus?
It's so sorry. It's your wisdom plus your proficiency bonus if you're proficient, plus 5 for you. So
23.
So 0.
It's not
So
your
yours
perception.
is-
It's not the
yours is
perception.
10.
perception
Not the
plus
perception
proficiency
thing?
bonus.
Oh, okay, sorry. What was it then?
So it's wisdom.
Wisdom.
If you're proficient, you
Yeah.
get your proficiency bonus.
Yeah, that's what I
You're the
did.
one that
It's
spots this,
15
I'm
plus
not.
wisdom plus proficiency.
Yeah.
My wisdom is 4, my proficiency is 4, so it's 23.
So it is
right?
23.
Oh, so wisdom is included.
Wisdom is included.
Oh, okay, then I'm up to 19.
Yeah, so that's why it's just 10
Yeah.
plus proficiency. Sorry, 10 plus your. Oh my god. 10 plus
my
your
God.
perception modifier. Plus, if you have the alert feat, you get a bonus of
I
5.
see.
No, I'm,
Okay.
So perception skill check thing says 3.
So
Dang,
for
I
you,
should
it's
be
13.
going a lot
And it
higher
has
for my
the-
passive perception.
The red dot.
It doesn't
on
matter about the
Entire
red dot
time.
because you're just paying attention to
well.
to what your perception modifier
Yep.
is, and you're adding 10 to it.
Yeah.
That's what your passive is. Like as you're walking down the road, you naturally notice this.
Right. That's 13.
So
So mine was
19,
Yeah.
23,
10.
10. Okay, cool.
12.
12.
17.
17. Okay, so you three stepping into the room, you do notice that the shadows kind of hit in a couple of different places, and you notice that something seems a little bit out of place, as if there's a figure potentially crouched, trying to hide as best as possible behind the lectern.
Should we all
Go around.
Yeah, let's.
So Doctor
flank.
and I are gonna flank and just go.
Okay.
I have my weapon out.
Yeah,
Okay.
weapon out. Not pinging, as best you can tell. Not nothing of immediate danger. Sitting down, knees pulled to his chest behind the lectern, is a human guy, just scorched brown robes, large streak of hair missing from his forehead,
Does this
all
look
the way
like?
to the back of his neck.
Does it look like one of the people who were here when we beat them up?
Like the
first time we
like a
came?
barbarian.
Looks very different.
Cool.
Looks somewhat noble almost, minus the gigantic streak of missing scorched hair.
Noble, did you say?
Yeah, somewhat noble.
And who the fuck
And he's
are
got a
you?
gigantic scorch mark on the left side of his face as well.
Who goes there?
We can see is.
We're on both sides. Stand
Looks out.
slowly.
And it's just a human guy looking pretty hurt and scared.
Can I put my mage hand, crab hand, and go like, come, to like scare him?
Hello? Hello?
Hello. What's your name?
Why are there so many of you here?
Why is there only one of you? Come out here, we want to talk to you really quick.
That's a solid point.
Yeah, he's got.
I suppose I am in the minority here. My name is Vilnius. I trust you're not here to kill me.
Well, not unless you answer us wrong.
This is sounding maybe more threatening than it absolutely needs to be.
Thank you. I truly appreciate that.
So we're here to investigate the Amber Temple. Clearly.
Right.
We're not here aligned with anyone particular except for our own interests. We didn't expect to find anyone randomly in here. So why don't you tell us what you're doing here?
Well, did you happen to notice any red streaks on the floor outside? What remained of my compatriots when that gigantic beast of an amber golem rumbled down the hallway?
Did we see any?
You did.
Yes.
There were
Yeah.
gigantic claw
Right.
marks and scorch
Right,
marks.
right.
Oh, we thought
On
it
the
was like
floor outside.
We
spaghetti
did see
sauce.
the aftermath of the battle.
This is the Italian.
Well, I
Chunky.
was being hunted down, managed to find my way into this door and close it behind me, and heard a couple of pounds on the outside, and then I've been here ever since. And
How long have you been in here for?
Oh, the better part of 5 days. I'm very hungry and thirsty. Do you have anything?
I'll
for me
give
by
him,
any chance?
give him some of our rations and water.
Thank you. He just greedily takes it, like, with no regard for how much you actually are. Like, anytime food comes into play, he just immediately starts snacking.
Where are
But
you?
why
Where
are
are you
you
from,
here?
Vilnius?
I'm not sure that I...
Where are you from, Vilnius?
Right. Okay. Yes. All right. Listen. All right. Right.
All right. He knows that there's
All right.
6 of us and one of him.
Part of a series of mages who travel through Barovia, essentially seeking knowledge and interesting points of power, such as this.
Inside check.
Yeah, go for it.
Can I also inside check?
Go for it.
Everybody.
Yeah,
on
well,
it.
it's not great, but it's
Everybody
something.
go, let's go
Inside check.
That's not good at all.
No,
No.
I got a 10.
10.
I didn't do that good either. I got 14.
14.
I got a. Oh god. Oh no.
What, a 19?
19. He's wearing mage's robes. He's got scorch marks on
Do they
him.
match?
He's carrying a book of some kind that looks pretty similar to spell books you've seen.
Did you?
The robes do not match.
Oh.
No.
Does the name Rictavio mean anything to you?
No, I
Insight?
can't say. Yeah, go for it.
Gotta
Like
get that
the- wait,
Rictavio line.
Well, I mean, like, traveling mages, right? Like,
Hey,
hey.
Is he a
Insight?
mage?
24.
24.
Oh, no, wait, sorry. It's actually
Oh.
28.
28.
Yeah.
He seems utterly bewildered
Yeah,
by
okay.
that name.
this guy is pretty useful.
So, curse this fucking place, or fuck this cursed place. I need to leave.
So do we, friend, but let's not
Absolutely.
be too hasty.
Great. Let's leave.
Hey,
Wait.
hold up. Here's the thing. We're trying to figure out, if we've seen everything we need to see in this place. Is there anything you were looking for in particular? And we'll just confer with our notes.
Right.
Sure, we didn't miss anything.
Okay. Well, there is a discussion amongst my community of an expensive library of interesting knowledge. That is one of the reasons that my master, Jakarian, wanted to come here.
Did you say Jakarian?
Jakarian. Yeah.
Jakarian.
Is that the guy that was strung along the side of the wall when we
I would assume parts of him, probably, in and amongst the rubble. Yes.
Okay, it's a tough break.
So, the primary reason, of course, was to find some of these books, potentially extract the information from inside them, and then bring them back with us.
I'm not sure
What
if you'd
would
have
you
that.
have done with that information?
We don't even know what the information is. It's more just curiosity.
How do you know about this?
Yeah,
How
I
do you
was
know
about
about
to
this
say that too.
library?
Notice now.
Well, the Amber
Statistically
Temple is a
average.
haven for forbidden knowledge. We were curious on why it's forbidden and what it is that's so
Does
forbidden.
this
You know what, that's
library
fair.
by any
I was
chance?
gonna say we're no
16.
better than this guy.
Yeah.
It's kind of tough
This
to
is my
read.
boy.
Yeah, he seems pretty
Okay.
I thought that in Barovia,
Okay.
someone correct me if I'm wrong, clearly we're not from here, people didn't trust mages.
They don't, which is why we do not associate with most of the cities, and why we have.
We know what that feels like.
Are you from Barovia?
Originally?
Insight?
He's asking a question.
Oh.
Originally?
Oh,
No.
well, no. Are you from another land?
How did you get into Barovia?
I came here out of curiosity.
Vilnius.
Jakarian to find this place and extract the knowledge and then return. And then we got trapped and we couldn't leave, and now we're fucking here, okay?
Well,
Where
he's
are
gonna
you-
be here
Appreciate the
permanently.
honesty.
Where are you
Well,
from
It's fair,
originally?
Vilnius.
From Daggerfoot. Sword Coast, if any of you know what any of those words mean, I
Aye.
don't know.
Yes.
Judging by your races, I'm assuming you're not from here either.
Nope.
Fuck no.
Right. Yes. Well, originally from Daggerfoot, and we got trapped here several months ago, trying to find our way through. Nobody seems to let us in because we carry spellbooks and we have the brown robes of mages, and so we've been living out in the forest, fending off wolves and werewolves and fucking marauders and fucking poop-covered people.
Oh, we found those
We
as well.
found, yeah, they're gone.
Yeah.
So you're part of
Dennis
the
is-
other party
You
that
see that he's
Yeah.
like, literally like, physically upset at the idea of poop even touching him.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
Where-
that's we
You
know his
recognize
weakness.
like typical noble behavior here.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So I
Correct.
hate this guy.
You do.
Does
He
this-
very specifically reminds you
I
of
like-
somebody, just maybe a little more grown up with a bit more intelligence.
Hey, can I cast mending on his bald spot?
It doesn't work on humans.
Does this library have
Okay.
anything to do with a lich by any chance?
Well, liches are creatures that are said to hold some of the most expansive knowledge in all of the lands, so it would
Not
make
this one.
sense. What do you mean, not
Can
this
you,
one?
can you read Braille?
What did she mean, not this one? Is there a lich here?
This land. She meant this land.
Make a deception check.
Ooh, now we're the lion ones. Ooh, how the turns
shit.
taste.
Deception?
Deception.
15?
15. So there is a lich here. That is interesting. Oh, never mind.
You don't seem to be in much shape to go lich
No,
hunting.
that is exactly
Vilnius.
what I was thinking. Yes, I'm had on the disheveled side, I realized. But I still have my book. I'm well rested and fed and I was going to say drunk, but not drunk. Just fed.
You seem pretty nervous there, my friend.
Well, you would be too if you've been here for 5 days and watched your entire
He makes a strong
How many
case.
people
though.
did you have with you?
7.
Were they all those who had come from the Sword Coast with you?
Yes,
Dude,
Jakarian was our
really
master.
was the-
Ah, you were a group of mages.
We were. We came here seeking knowledge. We got trapped here, unable to leave. We had some run-ins with the locals, and
Ah, we met them as well.
They're not friendly.
no, especially not. So, best I can determine, I would like to leave.
We're not about to leave just yet, but you can come with us.
What was your plan to get out of Barovia?
Well, we assumed that we were strong enough to be able to permeate the barrier that keeps this land removed. And
Bad news, friend.
How
Yeah,
about,
that's
how did you think about going out?
Sorry, my
What was
friend
your
isn't
plan
quite.
about going?
She kind of farts under the mouth sometimes. It's weird.
Ah, yeah.
Oh my god.
Can't help it.
It's a weird tick. Well, worse has happened in Barovia, right, Vilnius?
What was your plan to permeate the barrier?
well, we're a series of incredibly strong mages. Obviously, it is magic that keeps us here. We assumed that we would be powerful enough with the research that we did to attempt to leave, but Then one of us was lost to the wall of fog, and nobody else attempted to make their way through. So we were simply stuck here and attempting to find a way to leave, and that was what brought us partially to this area after we heard about some of the knowledge that was here.
You
That
say you're
tracks.
incredibly strong. If you had to put, like, say, a level number to how strong you are.
From 1 to
I
20.
don't know
Oh
about the
my
level number,
God.
but well, I have many of you. Well, I'm guessing he is.
Yes.
Right.
Some of us dabble.
Some of us do.
And he kind of like looks behind, and Casimir kind of from the behind and is just kind of like.
His fucking
I
finger
can take a
falls
look
off.
at his book and see if there is anything of interest. And he opens up the book and
Oh yeah, Cass is still with them.
yeah.
Is he?
And so
Yes.
Casimir
Yeah.
like steps
He's just
forward
gross
and he
now.
Yeah,
passes
it
over the
smells like-
wizard's
it's got a Thanos
spell book,
vibe.
and Casimir opens
Because
it up and
Casimir
just
is a
kind of.
wizard too, or he multi-classed into wizard.
How old did you say you were? Manus. Well, I'm in my late 30s. I'm very proud of that fact. And Casimir just
Oh,
kind of.
late 30s. Cute.
God bless you.
So
That's pretty
this has the
old.
trappings of a mage who has been studying magic for under a decade. This is not somebody who would even stand a chance at a single fight with any of Strahd's creatures. Your master, I assume, was more powerful than you. And he kind of comes back in. Yes, he was.
How long have you been studying magic, Doctor?
That's not important right now.
Crash course in
Casimir
community
kind of
college.
looks over his shoulder and Casimir goes, the better part of 2 centuries. And then he just kind of like looks and goes, well, you must be a master. Well,
Vilnius, we're looking
could
for
you
a new
teach
water
me?
Damn
boy.
boy.
Like the two of them start to get a little bit
Oh,
on the nerdy
boy.
side,
Oh,
and then
fuck.
Casimir's just like, "Fuck this guy! Like, get me out of here." Takes a
Okay.
couple of
Vilnius,
steps
you
back.
carry,
Closes the book.
Vilnius
Gives
can
it
carry
back.
the bags.
Vilnius, we are not quite done here yet, but you can come with us should you like. Should you wish to go on your own, there's a path clear to the door.
Or you can go to a door. There's a couple of rooms nearby that are clear, and meet us there if you'd rather not be in this hallway. We've dispatched the golem that's outside.
The golem is dead.
Yeah, very done.
I think we should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pull up here for.
No, I don't think we should let this guy leave.
No.
What? But
Why not?
What?
I don't want
that's not
someone
fair.
who is looking for power sniffing around
Maybe
this
if
temple.
he
You mean
told
like
us what
any of
this
us?
knowledge was that you were looking for,
Right.
we might be more.
Looking
He
for
already
a
told
way
us.
to leave.
No,
Yeah,
you were
he
looking
told
for
us
knowledge
that.
from the library. What the fuck was the knowledge you were looking to take out of the library?
Well,
The
there's-
way to leave.
Yeah, I
Insight
Find a
check.
way to leave.
Yeah, insight check.
Barovia.
I rolled a nat 20 for insight check.
He's fucking honest. He's
Yeah.
like,
guy
I
just
want
wants
to go home.
I want to go home too, friend.
This guy is not going to make it past anything.
And he just starts to curl up into a ball and begins
like,
to
even
cry.
Right,
a
if
little
he
bit.
thinks there's like, oh, to the library, he's not going to go there because it
Let's
would turn
just-
him into dust in 2 seconds.
Let's just let this guy walk out of the town. I don't.
Do his thing.
whatever.
He can tag with us.
Yeah, I don't care. He's fine.
You can or you
Right.
can't, but.
They probably
But I
died.
think-
I
Can
feel
we
like
all
it's
can we
better.
huddle
Yeah. So we.
so that so and so's not listening
Hey,
to us?
Vilnius, can you give us 5?
But also can't leave.
Yeah, we don't want to
Oh, wait,
leave.
he at this point is just like a blubbering, like fetal position.
I want to leave.
I want to leave.
You made a grown man cry, Les. Good work.
Yeah, it's not the first
You
time. Won't
bullied
be
him
the
to
last
cry.
time.
Bully.
Okay, hold on. Okay, so what are we doing? Because we're gonna spend like we're gonna be as long as that guy's been. Keep fucking around. We need a plan.
I thought I heard voices.
I
behind
did
Yeah, me too.
Alright.
Me too.
It's that goddamn temple. It's starting to get to our heads. Let's keep our heads on there. Come on.
Okay, sorry. So, what was the question?
What's our plan here?
Let's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
let. I'm done. I'm done with him. Let's let him go. I don't care.
Well,
He
Okay.
can tag with us but it like first hint of him doing anything sketchy, or going off on his own, or trying to gather anything that he doesn't have permission from us to gather, as far as power, loot, what the fuck ever.
right.
He gets thrown to the lich or whatever else.
well,
There's
okay,
a rock.
So
He could be
my-
fucking rock bait.
Sure.
Right.
Rock bait.
yes.
Alright, you go.
Rock bait.
My thing is that he seems to know the potential way to read the library of blank books.
I don't
They
think
haven't
he
seen it.
does.
He just said they were gonna check it out.
I'm not sure if he does. Like, I think he maybe heard of a legend of a library,
Yeah, same as us.
same as us. Same
Okay.
as us came in
It's gonna
looking
be
for power.
wildly
I
disappointing.
mean, like, this boy if he had a master who was slightly more powerful than him, maybe. But we are 7 people who are way more powerful than him. Or sorry, 6 people who have been. Well, no, 7 with Casimir.
And me.
Yeah.
Did we get Casimir to try to read those books?
Yeah, everyone tried.
It was all blank for
And we've been in
everybody.
this land for weeks now, and we don't this is the most that we knew was to come here looking for power. There's no way this guy who got turned away from inns
Look at re-scratching
has
his
heard
ass.
anything more than us about this place. He's just like grasping at straws to try and find his way home. That's my take
I don't
anyway.
blame this guy.
Yeah, I'm with
Yeah,
Elise
let's
on
just
this.
get the fuck out of here.
So he can tag along as long as he doesn't fucking
Let's
touch
I
anything.
just don't
Apologize to the
entirely
man.
trust him.
Nah.
I'm not saying trust him. I'm just saying bring the poor fucker out. He doesn't have to be our fucking best buddy.
Yeah, we've seemed to have rescued other sniveling messes from other scary
We seem
places.
to be kind of 1 for 1 on these.
Like, why not just? Who gives a shit about
But
this
I
guy?
mean,
Let's just let him
also
go.
we didn't think that Cass was gonna do some weird shit.
Cass isn't against us though. He was just working for his own interests, but they weren't against ours necessarily.
Yeah.
Like, I agree. I would have preferred to have heard the whole truth from him ahead of time.
Is he
But
huddled in with
he
us
is.
right
I'm, he knows that I'm saying this.
He's
I'm
just
not
kinda-
like. I'm,
Yeah.
But
I was being secretive for a series of reasons.
I understand that. And my point is that you didn't do anything to work against us. There's no problems, even if we would have liked to know.
I mean, I would argue that this guy's been more honest right here.
That is true.
Yeah.
All right.
Either way.
I think.
Okay, we're getting off topic. I
Yeah,
think.
so
Do we need to put it to a vote whether we let this guy come with us? 'Cause we
Sure,
can.
let's just do it to get it done.
I think it's fine, but I think that we should have his book on us.
Why?
that might
I don't know.
create, that might
Casimir,
create more
does he have
issue.
anything significantly powerful in that book that he could do?
The strongest spell that he has access to is this, and he pulls it out, and he can cast Fireball once.
Oh,
I don't think
whatever.
we need to worry about this
We're
guy.
fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's
I
go.
don't think.
All right.
But are we gonna? This place seems great. Should we just sleep here for 8 hours?
We can't yet.
Should we kick it here for a bit? Or
You,
do we
you
wanna-
can stay in the room for like 6 or 7 hours and just kill time, right? And then sleep overnight if you wanted to, or you can head out the door. It's kind of up to you. It has been a while as well, so just remember as well that there was the rock that haunts at night outside, but that's about it.
Did you say there was another exit to this room as well? There was another
Nope, just
door?
the one.
Okay, just one.
Right. So
Yeah. It's just the staircases that.
What
descend
else?
We
down.
should
So-
probably take a look through this room,
What
though,
else are we
too.
looking for here? Because
I mean-
I'm ready to fucking go. We
What
got
about
the
this
sword.
obsidian
Yeah, we got the
slab
sword.
thing?
I wouldn't mind checking the other hallway because, like, it might be a mirror and there might be more rooms there. That could be of interest to us.
there
But
will be more rooms there, but do
Sure.
we need to search them?
we might. Maybe there's more stuff there. That we
There
can
will
use.
be more stuff.
But do we
but
need
do
to
we
search
need-
them? Then I would argue yes.
But there's going to be stuff in all of the rooms that there will be, right? Like, we know where one thing is that will help us.
Like it feels like we're delaying the inevitable at this point.
Yeah.
I'm more with the doctor. I think we should. If we come here, we may as well give it our all and find everything we can find. You never know.
We're
when
gonna be
you'll find-
stuck here for a very long time looking through all the
I don't know
fucking
if that's the
rooms
case.
in
I'm
here.
just saying we clear the other hallway and then we take off.
Okay.
And then we take off.
Yeah.
We all agree on that.
What about
So we look
clearing
at one
that
more
other
room
hallway?
and then go.
We're not going into the basement. We're not
What's
clearing all
some
the things
metric?
on the main floor. We're not doing anything
Boy,
else
would I
except for that
love
hall
to, but it doesn't
hallway.
appear to be in the interest of the group, so I'm willing to take an L on this. Much like the Sacramento Kings took an L the other night.
Oh,
All I'm saying is go Kings.
Sorry, just clarifying as well. Because of what happened with Casimir leaping off the ledge, you also never continued on the hallway down this side either. There was a set of doors that were open that
That's
you
right.
never ended up passing through. So there are a few different directions you can go here. I did forget about that.
I'm all for continuing to explore or
I
to
agree.
rest and keep doing it, but I mean, I'm also not going to despite what you may think, I'm not about to go do it by myself. So
Like I said
It would
before,
be on character.
I don't think that, like, I'm not opposed to us exploring more of the Amber Temple. If we're gonna do that, we have to rest. We can't. I'm not letting the group go back into the potential for heavy combat.
they're really
Depleted
pretty fucking
Leviar.
useless.
We're depleted. Our like buff.
Our buff.
Our lovely Leaf over here
Buff.
is feeling a little
A
depleted.
little dry.
And I don't feel confident with us going into the potential of combat and all through the temple. There we already know there's more of those
Golems.
There's more of those
And
skulls.
we got what we
there's
fucking
more...
needed to kill that motherfucker.
Yeah.
And
So
end this whole
either,
fucking thing.
either we leave now and it's fine. Like, there's not much. Like, we might find a couple things. A little bit of treasure. Yeah, that's great. But also we might, that's fine if we want to do that, but we have to rest. We have to sleep.
I don't mean to be an asshole about it, but we don't know that there are more golems. We know that there are 2 more flame skulls, but that's all the opposition we're currently
There is
aware
some
of.
weird shit down on
Well, we know there's like a
Yeah,
jittery bug thing, maybe, but that's
in the opposite.
I don't
So
like
that
that.
chittering was coming from the same, the
Where
opposite.
the flame skulls are?
Yeah.
Underneath that, it opens into a large expanse.
Yeah.
Somewhere
this
in
place
there,
is
it was
big.
echoing off the walls. You don't know what direction it came from, but there was something in there. And it kind of opens, you can imagine like a gigantic T. It's a very short
Yeah.
little hallway, and then it's a long thing on either side with
Yeah.
a series of doors.
I would also make the argument that we fucking rocked the world of just about anybody we've fought in here outside of the furry and fucking elf boy. So, like, I think... I don't want us to be reckless, but I also want us to consider that, we're not
helpless at this
yeah,
point.
we're not fresh out of grade school.
No, that's true. I don't know. Yeah,
Okay.
I just don't want us getting like
my
obsessed in
point-
here.
Yeah, my point though is that our major healer
But
is
we're
tapped out.
we're gonna chill regardless, right? Or are you guys saying we keep going?
I'm happy to chill. I don't mind.
I mean, I don't mind exploring sort of one more area and calling at that point, but I also don't mind stopping to rest. I do have the ability to cast a few more spells, and I do have a couple of heal spells. If we get into trouble, I can sort of save those for that
Yeah, I
rather
got
than
a
using them for
potion
battle.
and a couple gingerbread, so they're a little moldy, but I'll eat them. What?
It's up to you
I don't
guys.
give a fuck.
Okay,
Poison.
let's just whatever we do, we need to make up our mind and just go,
Les
right?
shits his guts
Yeah.
out.
Because we're gonna spend the
Okay, we
rest-
have a room here that's this fella has been staying in for 5 days.
So it's probably fine.
So
Just
it's
don't go in
probably
the
safe.
corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
We could. Here's our options. We could stay here and just wait and then fall asleep in a few hours. We could go down this hallway and continue past where Casimir saw Rahadin, and explore what's just down on this hallway, or we could just leave now. But we're not leaving later because the rocks are out there at night. So, what does everyone think? I'm down to. My preference would be to keep exploring down this hallway. I don't mind stopping and waiting if we'd prefer to do that. I am with the doctor. I'd rather stay and clear everything out before we leave, or at least a little bit more. But I don't care about it enough to get in a fight with anyone about it.
I'm kind of the same mind. I just figure all I'm really concerned about is that other hallway because we already know what's waiting for us there.
So I kind of like those double doors, but I know that's going to be something bigger.
We know it's 2 flame skulls in there. We know those guys go down relatively easy. They hit hard, but they go down easy, much like a.
I don't know if there is anything in that hallway. Like when we were
Tito's
in there,
vodka, proud
Yeah,
sponsors.
we were in
We
that
saw
hallway.
that hallway.
We looked
the
at
only
it.
thing
There
we
was
saw
in the hallway.
was a dead body from the
Yeah.
guy who was part of the Raiders.
The Raiders.
Is that so?
I don't think we saw any chests or any loot or anything.
In the hallway with the flame skulls?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just the dead body of one of the raiders and the two flame skulls.
But there were doors, right?
Yeah, there was a door on the other side, which you know where that leads to, because
Yeah.
that was the
But
door
were there
outside
doors in the
where the
hallway?
jug of wine was. There did appear to be a...
Oh, if it's perfectly mirrored, it'll be like what we're in
Yeah,
right
2
now.
doors.
Yeah, it was. You did notice there was one door.
Oh.
Because for you guys, from the direction that you're at, hang on, sorry.
Even
you
easier.
You would have seen. I apologize.
It's a
In a quick
geography.
thing, you would have seen one door closer to where, because Les kicked the door open, kind of saw the thing. Flame skulls turned. You would have seen one door almost directly on your left. And then anything beyond that was blocked by the flame skulls, so you're
I
not
see.
sure. So it's a mirror in terms of there are the double doors and there's a hallway, but there did appear to be a different placement of the doors on
Okay.
that side. Whereas
So-
on this side, it's one door to a large chamber. You could maybe guess it was 1, 2, 3 doors to maybe smaller chambers. You're not sure.
Okay. So I would just like to clear those, and I'm happy. I'm a happy little boy.
Should we have
But
a,
I'm also happy to rest.
should we have a rest and then do that and then dip?
I'm okay to do that.
Are we meaning short rest, long rest?
I don't think we can. Well,
we can't do another short rest.
we can't do
You
this.
can do another short rest.
I'm not gonna.
Short rest you can do as many
I
times.
won't.
as
I
you
won't get
Yeah,
anything out of
yeah,
a short
yeah.
rest. Like I'm in for
Short
a
rest
long
is mostly
but-
just hit points at this point.
Yeah, I don't think anyone will.
I mean, I wouldn't mind taking some time to check out my fancy new robe.
long rest.
You can do that if you want.
And if we do a long rest, we basically have to wait in this room for about 5 hours and then
And
sleep.
then sleep for 8 hours.
For 8 hours,
So
and then
you're,
start
you're
in the
looking at a
morning.
12 to 13 hour kill time, and then wake up the following day kind of thing. Which is doable, obviously. But
I mean, Leaf, how do you feel? What's
Okay,
your?
I'll tell you, I can do.
I'm gonna
I
defer
got
to you.
3. Okay, I got
yeah, you can use numbers.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I got 1 first level spell, 1 second level spell, and 1 third level spell. No 4th level spell, and no 5th level spell. So
Okay.
what that equates to is like I can bless like 4 party members, do 1 healing word, and 1 spiritual guardian thing.
Right.
Okay.
But
So
and you're tapped for a revivify, basically.
Yeah,
It's-
but I-
I've got Revivify.
So if
Oh,
anyone
do you? Okay.
dies,
Okay.
Yeah, and I've got
but I
a
can bring
spell
someone
slot
back
for
the
that.
next day.
Okay.
So anyways,
That's
we,
true.
we can do this. We can do this.
Okay.
Did you take resurrection or whatever? it
I've
is?
got. Oh, I can.
Raised
I can
damage?
just prep the next because it's like 10 days or something. So I don't
Oh,
even
yeah.
have to have. I can just prep
But
that.
yeah,
the next
what
day.
is the spell? Is it raised dead? Or?
Yeah, raise that. I think it's super handy.
Especially for clerics, where it's just
Yeah.
like, oh cool, you're dead. You'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like I'll put you on this. Well, it's like 10 days, so that's
Yeah.
Put him on the slab.
put you in the daddy way.
So
Frank and Fred was gonna
it's
bring
entirely
Rocky
up to you
back
guys. You've
tomorrow.
got
so-
the, the main
Yeah.
the main 2 directions you've
Okay,
really
yeah.
got. If you're staying on the upstairs, are to continue on the path where he jumped off,
Yeah.
and just continue through there, which you've seen the doors. You know that leads somewhere. Or to backtrack all the way to the other side of the door that Les kicked down with the flame skulls,
Right.
where you know there's at least 1 door there, but you have no idea what else is there except for the fact that there's 2 flame skulls.
And then down in the main chamber,
Main
there's
chamber, giant cross. You know what the top part is. Open area, set of closed doors.
Right.
Okay, we said we're gonna clear the other hallway, the 2 flame skulls, and whatever's in the 3 rooms, and that's it.
I'm happy with
Well,
that.
we went from 1 room to 6.
What?
Yep.
All right.
So, where are we starting? Do you want to continue down this hallway, or do you want to backtrack and go to the flame
I
skulls?
mean,
Are we
I
taking
think-
a rest
I
yet?
think this hallway.
I don't think we're taking
Okay,
a rest.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
let's
think-
finish this hallway.
Finish this hallway?
Yeah, I think, we can burn some time, but I think, main priority is to rest up as
Yep.
soon
Long
as we
rest.
can.
Yeah.
A long
Alright,
rest.
so
yeah.
burning up some
And we're-
time, getting to the point where you're able to take that long rest.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
let's push it.
Sure. Into
And
it.
we can, we can,
He smacks his glutes.
we
Let's
can
go.
piece if we run into anything particularly
Yeah,
scary.
we know rooms we can barricade now.
Yeah.
We're in a good place.
Well, okay. Let's just also just be conscious
Smash
of the
cut.
time, because if we get into a position where we have to fucking run, and it's dark out at that point, then we're running into the rock.
Don't tell that guy about it.
Right.
Send
You
him
run
up.
first.
Yeah, I cast light on him and he runs.
He's like, you're like a deep sea
Push
fish.
him
That's
down the
it.
hill.
Run! And we all sit down on the steps. It's fine. Where's the
Zigzag,
popcorn?
zigzag.
Alright,
Shall
so
we do
with,
it?
Oh my god.
so are you leaving him in the room, or are you bringing
No,
him with
no.
you?
Villainous, it's your lucky day. We're heading out.
That is fantastic to hear.
We just have a couple detours to take first.
Yeah.
You want to hang out here, buddy?
Yeah.
Okay, you hang out here.
Yeah, I'm not particularly one for a whole lot of
And we
bravado action. as
we,
well.
we get it. You hang out here.
We're gonna. Okay.
Okay, bye.
Shall we?
Yes.
And he just kind of goes back to hiding behind the altar and like tucks his knees in behind and like clearly has his hiding spot ready to go.
He's doing great.
I hate this guy so much.
This guy would be a worthy
Love
addition
him.
to our party.
He's our
He will
true
come in
ally
handy.
We
against
need a new
Strahd.
Father.
mascot.
Yeah.
He's our bag boy.
Yeah.
So
We should
making
tell him you're a noble.
We don't know that. Allura's
No, you
never
don't.
told us that.
So, making your way down that
Yeah,
hallway,
what's
you
your
come into
backstory?
the same room that you had the cracked amber golem, all the pieces strewn
Yeah.
across the floor,
Which we took some of it.
which you took some of it. Passing out through that one, you come over to the balcony area with the black marble slab that looks out of the center area, set of open double doors on your right.
Did no one investigate the obsidian slab in the room that we just came from?
No.
Did it matter?
I'll say that you were in there long enough. It looks very expensive and something that potentially shards could have been taken off. And obsidian
okay.
is used in magic in some ways.
Yeah.
So potentially items crafted from it, things like that. But overall, it's just like a very
Right.
interesting.
Didn't look at like
black
it had
rock.
any inherent power.
Not as best you could tell.
All right.
Okay, so looking through from this area, so you come right off of that balcony. It's essentially a mirror of this. but the other way around. So you see a bare stone room consists of a foyer to the west and a shrine to the east. 4 candlesticks lie on the dusty floor of the foyer, each somewhat used. In the shrine, fragments of a shattered obsidian statue mirrored in what you saw on the other side.
Did it look like it was part of the obsidian statue that was?
It looks like an identical version, but shattered.
Yeah.
Scattered in a raised alcove at the eastern end of this chamber, so in exactly the same place, but this one destroyed. 2 pairs of empty alcoves line the north and south walls of the shrine, and that's about it.
Cool. Let's keep moving.
Keep going through.
Okay. All right. So you've got a little arrow archer post exactly that you have on the other side, that one little 5 by 5 foot room. Nothing else in there. But best you can tell beyond that, there is nothing to continue on.
Oh.
Can I investigate
Search
for
for
a secret
So
door?
we're saying
Go for it. Make a perception check.
Can I assist Allura?
Sure. Actually, no, because of the sword.
Oh, that's right.
Can I assist?
You can, so at advantage. What I will get you to do is just make a...
Can I cast guidance?
Sorry?
Sorry, can I?
Sure.
Okay.
That's fine. Actually, never mind, because you've already been to the other side. You recognize that it's the same statue.
Hello from the other side.
28.
28. There is a secret door.
Yeah. I would like to
We
check
open
for
it up,
traps.
Dave. Hey.
Go for it. Investigation check at
Oh,
advantage with a
hello.
D4. All the bonuses.
Oh, still?
Well, yeah, the doctor's helping you and at least guidancing.
Everyone's helping.
25?
25?
Sorry, 20. What is 14 plus 9?
23.
23.
23. Hand presses against the wall, begins to rumble open. No, you're good.
Okay.
It opens in, so on the other side, the secret door led into the room with all the skulls cascading out. So you kind of instinctively take a step back, wait for something to happen. Nothing does. Poke your head around the corner, and you see it turns to the right, and you see the top of what looks like a staircase going down.
Can I look up?
You can. Nothing on the ceiling.
Is it like the same height?
Same height.
Okay.
But there is a staircase that's descending down to an area, and this is where things differ. This is not a mirror, no longer a mirror of the other side. Where it was that very small area, and then it led into the Lich's bedchamber. This is instead a staircase going down, and you don't know exactly what this is going to be.
Okay, so we agreed we clean this out. We're gonna do the other one now.
Aren't we gonna go down this stairway?
Are we gonna
This
add
is-
more things to the
yeah,
list
this
or
is-
stick to the list?
We're
This is
killing
adding
5
the
hours either way.
entire-
I'm happy
Okay.
to take a wander down, but
Okay,
you know.
let's send Rick down. How about?
Okay, yeah, I don't mind
Split it
that.
there.
Okay.
Yeah, invisible rig
Invisible
pops
Rick?
on down.
Does Rick have dark vision?
I believe so.
I think he does. I just want to double check because.
Yes.
Okay, cool. 30 feet.
Yeah.
30 feet. Okay.
Table flash.
Okay, go and make a stealth check for Rick at advantage with his invisibility.
It's gonna get pulled into a statue again.
Your dice make such satisfying, like,
Flex.
20.
20. Okay. Beginning to make his way down, he's kind of relaying everything. Are you looking through his eyes?
Yeah, I'll do that. Sure.
Okay. So you're looking through his eyes, but he's also relaying to you because the one thing you can't tell through him is smell. He's like, smells like home.
Yeah, my man.
Smells like
home,
home.
home for him.
No, I'm
Like
aware.
brimstone?
Like hell.
Brimstone, death, stench of corpses. The air is thin. The heavy stench of death wafts up from whatever
Someone
lies
down
below.
there had Chipotle, right?
The stairs descend 20 feet straight, then cut right, eventually landing in a collapsed hall with a high ceiling and amber glazed walls. Rubble covers most of the floor, and a path through the rubble leads to an open doorway. Down here, for him, the stench of death clearly has its sort of laying beyond that door, but it is open at his distance right now. He's not able to see anything on the other side of the door.
Can I get him a little bit closer? Take a look-see.
Yeah. Pushes a little bit closer, kind of peeks his head into the room. The room has amber glazed walls and a floor of dark green marble. 3 amber monoliths, essentially very similar to the ones that you saw in the room with the vampire spawn, stand in alcoves along the walls. And just quickly make this one just so you see what it all looks like.
Yeah.
Because this one is nice and straightforward.
Some Inception shit.
wow, yeah.
It's essentially that. So Rick has come in from here.
Hey, now the viewer can see.
So we'll say
Yeah.
we'll use the doctor
Enjoy
as Rick.
Yeah. Enjoy seeing Jordy's handiwork. I don't know,
Inception
literally.
skills.
So you can imagine there's
We'll get the
there's walls on every side of this. This is essentially what he's looking into. And looking into this area, there's a sarcophagi here, here, and here.
You do have these things.
Yes, I
And
do
it smells
think
like death.
And it smells like death. Yeah, it
Smells like death.
I'll say sarcophagi because they're about the same size as a sarcophagus, just to make it easier.
Cool.
But they look identical to the ones that you saw in the room with the vampire spawn.
And that was... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, in addition to that, Rick sees 2 feral humanoids with ghastly gray skin whipping their heads around the room, peering through the door hungrily, with 3 eyes.
Cool.
2 vaguely normal in the regular places, and a third in the center of their forehead, lidless and blinded by cataracts.
Cool.
They look similar to what you had experienced before, the gassed creatures in the bottom of Death House, save for these ones having that third eye with those cataracts in
I
it.
see. Cool. And there's no other entrances or exits to the room previous?
Best you can. No, it is straight up. It's a staircase down, collapsed wall on
I
the
see it
right hand
into
side,
this.
and then into this.
Okay. I'm gonna pop
What
Rick.
is Rick's passive perception?
It's
So it's 10 plus his perception modifier.
Rick just gets boomed everywhere we see.
Plus his perception. Okay. It's just 11.
11? Okay. Good to know. So yeah, so that's what he sees.
Or me.
Okay. I'm just gonna pop him back up. To me.
And he just kind of looks back and just like, that's fucking freaky. I don't like it.
Cool. No, I get you, buddy. So I'm
So
gonna.
what you see down there?
So, you guys remember that stuff that Casimir touched without telling us? You remember that? How he did that to us? So,
Yes, I remember how I did that to you.
hi Casimir. Good to see you.
It's really getting history.
Try a new moisturizer. So, there's another one of those down there. Some more amber sarcophagi down there. There's also some scary, like, gas thingies. They
Okay.
got 3 eyes.
Do we remember what sort of abilities those had from the Death House?
I don't remember anything.
Incredibly
from that
long
house.
whipping tongues, fangs,
Didn't they,
long,
like, kill
elongated
you?
claws.
Oh, yeah.
They're
These
great.
were
That
not
was
the
a
ones
cool
that
one.
froze you in place.
No, same guy.
Yes.
But you remember that they were incredibly strong undead creatures, and they did have the ability to drain life from you.
Well, we
Can
know
I
level
have
2, but
Rick
yeah.
describe the gas to Aleth to see if she would know anything about them given her undead provision?
Favorite enemy.
Sure, third eye, or just gas in general.
Third eye blind me.
The third eye gas.
They want
Third
something
eye,
else.
absolutely nothing. That's like, even for undead, that's weird.
Okay, gas in
That's
general.
fucking mad.
Gas in general, yeah, not. It's something that you've had actually a decent amount of experience with.
Just leave these.
You've had experience with gas?
I've hunted a lot of undead.
Well,
Someone
no, you
who
had
knows
experience
those
in
legs.
that you
Sorry.
were in that you've all fought them,
Yeah.
right? So gas. Sorry, I'm just trying to remember here.
We haven't fought anything.
Yeah, you essentially remember the claws. Sorry, I apologize. Actually, no. Ghasts do have the same paralyzing feature
Oh, they
as
do?
the ghouls do, just
Yeah.
stronger.
Oh,
Ghouls
cool.
are essentially
Oh,
kitty ones.
sorry.
Ghasts, they're the big boys.
Daddy ones.
So maybe we don't do this.
They're not overtly strong. Like you remember
just-
the party of you, 6 of you, taking on 2 of them
At
when
level
you were
1.
much lower.
Yeah, or
Level 2.
Level 2.
Level 2.
And it was difficult, but it wasn't impossible.
Right, but there might be sarcophagi with spawn in them as well.
Well, but the sarcophagi looked, if I'm understanding this correctly, they were very similar to the amber blocks that.
So the sarcophagi, I'll just give a quick description. The
Please.
sarcophagi look like a rough block of solid amber. 8 feet tall, 5 foot wide, 5 foot thick. But looking at it, you see no cracks, no seams, or no indication of any kind that this is more than a solid piece of amber.
Okay,
So I
misunderstood.
don't think they're.
I thought they were like the boxes that the spawn came out of.
The spawn
down
boxes
below.
were decrepit
else.
wooden
Wood,
crates
yes,
that
yeah.
looked identical to what you saw in
The
coffin,
coffin
maker's
maker.
house.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
essentially placed there
That
as a
allegedly
deterrent.
burned
Okay, so
down.
we know what's down there. Let's
I
check the
wouldn't
other.
mind the investigation, but I'm also happy to turn around.
I think it's potentially risky for us to go fight them, but I don't know like what we will gain from it if like the.
Did Rick see anything else in the room that would be of interest
He
to us?
didn't actively look, so
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he didn't look. He was
yeah,
just,
he essentially saw the gas and went nope, and then you pulled him back.
that's my man.
Should we just check
Fair
those
enough.
other rooms?
I'm down for that. We know what's here. If we want to come back, we can come back. Let's
So
check
to
all
check
these
the other rooms,
places
you'll have
off.
to make your way around to the other side. You'll have to kill the 2 flame skulls.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah.
It's
I
gonna
feel
happen.
like that's better than these ghasts.
Chat's getting bored. They keep posting sleeper things. So.
Oh, I was like, oh.
No, it's all good.
That might just be me.
Just Jesse being a team.
I'm just goofing. Don't worry.
Just goofing. All right.
Actually, wait, no, there is no.
So making your way back across to the other side, we'll say anybody who wants to prepare anything
Yeah.
in expectation of that door opening, now knowing what's on the
Pew,
other
pew.
side. So sword out.
Elise,
Yeah,
back up.
Back up!
I'm a prep.
I'm gonna hang back a bit considering I'm not
Yeah.
super.
Oh, we know they're gonna fire something in here, so we want to be spread apart.
Spread out, yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna
What
prep 2 Eldritch Blasts for the first one I see.
What did we? How?
What was the
What
best thing to
damaged
destroy,
them? What do we
destroy them?
remember damaged them?
Magic stuff.
Magic stuff.
Well, the only damage that they really took from you guys was Leaf hitting them with the moss ball,
Yeah.
which is just traditional magic damage. They took force damage from you, and they took arrow damage as well.
but I remember they didn't take the arrow damage. It wasn't as effective as I wanted it to be, right?
I
It
don't
was a
believe
gold,
so.
wasn't it?
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure.
Maybe it was.
We could try my
I think
old
it was
little
the golem.
frozen wall trick.
You're welcome to.
Yeah,
open
no,
the
they
doors
took
from a
regular
frozen
damage
wall,
from the
those
arrow.
Okay.
It was the
that
golems
knocked
that
into
took
the
most
room.
damage.
All right, fair
Or
enough.
golems
I
took
feel
no
like
damage.
a
sorry.
fireball might.
Yeah, I think that might take care of a frozen wall.
Well, it's 15 HP. It would hit it, and then it would stop.
If you want to try it out, I believe
Yeah,
in
if
you.
you want to do that.
I believe in
I
you.
want to prep bless for as soon as we kick the door open. I bless. These 4.
Okay. Alright. So, everybody lining up, I'll go ahead and
Not me.
ask.
Those four.
34.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll ask you who wants to do what in what order. So who's kicking the door open first?
That seems like a less thing to do.
Yeah.
Is that still a less thing to do?
Well,
How's
I
that
was
feeling?
thinking if I could make my frozen wall
Mhm.
before they hit it, so we have a barrier between us and them, so at least they're hitting something, not throwing it into the room with all of us. If
That's
they're
a
doing
2
fireball.
action thing, though, right? Like you're
Yeah.
casting water and then freezing it.
Mhm.
Also, I mean, I'm not. We need to be able to attack them.
Yeah.
It's good to have a wall.
Yeah, we have to
But
be
if-
able to get through it.
If we're basically surprising them, we can get a surprise round off of.
I think
attacking
we
them
should stand on
first.
either side of the door. I'll use Mage Hand to open up the door, so we're not in the
Thank
field
you.
of view.
Yeah. Do that
So
kind of
that
aggro.
is.
Yeah.
So we'll say here, this is...
We want to. Hope could be in the other room, like with the door open, so if they fire through,
So we'll say that's
if it goes off, they can run in, kind of miss that initial wave, because they only cast fireball like once. There's just that initial pop, that initial nut, and then it's
Yeah.
They cast fireball a couple times.
Oh,
last
do they?
time.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
They
They
cast
did.
it like every time
So
that they attacked
multiple.
us.
But no, because they only have so many castings of fireball.
Yeah, that's true. They can only do it so many times,
Yeah.
but they do it as much as they possibly
Well,
can.
yeah, but they're done after like 1 or 2. I can't.
So
So
remember
if we're all in this room,
I don't think they're done. I think it just
can we
takes
have
them a
everyone
minute
like
to
stand on either
recharge.
side?
Well, yeah, but it takes.
So you just know that
a day
that's
to
where the
recharge,
door is.
I don't think it's
Yeah.
a day.
Like
I think they're
this.
flame skulls.
Yeah, it's
Well,
probably
I
like us.
wanna-
It takes a day.
Yeah, I want to hang back and have firebolt prepped. Like I want to be right at the back.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can you prep like a dash action?
A dash is an action, but it's using your action. So you can't, like, for you, bonus action dash and then do something else.
Yeah.
But you could prep the action of dashing to add your movement.
Just run into the door.
I'm like saying like, because that's
Yeah, it's like right there.
like run right up to them.
Oh, I thought you were saying just run into the door that we're trying to get into. Yeah, do the thing you go through. There's just an outline.
2d4 points of door damage.
It's an amber door.
He said an amber door.
2 points
Take,
damage.
take amber damage. So,
How
so
far?
that's essentially
We don't know
all
how
that
far
is.
away they are with the door.
No, we
No,
opened the
you
door, they're
see
all
the lights
gone.
underneath the door now that you're paying attention to it in comparison to last time. You do see that there are flames licking under flames visible, the green and blue ember flames.
All right, are we ready?
Ready to go.
Arrows prepped.
So,
How does
again,
how does the door
Order.
open? Out
door
or-
opens out.
Out? Okay.
Order.
Order. So, who's doing what first?
Well, I'm gonna be
Because
opening the door.
you all get to decide. So you're
I'm
opening
opening
the door.
with Mage Hand.
I wanna
So open the door with Mage Hand. That's yours.
I want to
Who's going
bless
next?
almost immediately.
Okay, so you'll bless next. Hit your 4 targets.
Yeah.
Who's going next?
Arrows.
Arrows. Okay.
I'll go
I'll just
blast next.
Okay, so 2 Eldritch Blasts after that.
And
So
then can I, for an
then-
attack, can I?
there's no. It's action to open the door.
Right. Okay. I didn't know what.
And then, I'm gonna firebolt
Firebolt one
from
of
the
them.
distance.
Can you?
Okay.
Do you have a ranged attack?
I do, but I can't do it if I'm opening doors.
I can open the doors if you have a ranged attack because I don't have a magical
No.
ranged attack.
Okay.
You know that these are not creatures that are unaffected by magic or by non-magical attacks. Sorry, they are affected by regular attacks.
Yeah, they're vulnerable
Maybe
to normal
they're-
weapons.
Yes.
And also,
They're
I'm using Mage Hand to open the door, so we have one person open doors and be like, "Hi guys." Like,
But it's
we're gonna do
Allura.
it.
She's super fast. She can jump out of the way.
Yeah. I'm
That's what it
dexterous,
is.
All
so I
right.
can.
There's a chance she could move out of the way. There's a chance she could not.
No, but
You
This
know
way
as
is
well.
foolproof.
No, but if you use your action for something, because I can.
She still has her movement. She can move up to the doors, open them, and then move away from them again.
Except
Yeah.
for a nat 1.
Okay,
but I
I
also-
feel like people
There's
really
there's
want
no
me
nat
right
ones
here.
in this.
Yeah.
I'm opening with Mage Hand. Boom.
Okay.
This doesn't.
There we go.
Okay.
No, but
So doors open
It's done.
with Mage Hand.
Okay.
okay,
Okay.
4 people are blessed.
my whole action, I don't have anything to do.
You can
Like,
You
fire
got your crossbow.
crossbow.
Hey, very crossbow.
Yeah.
Didn't she-
I'm just trying
3
to
arrows trigger. So go ahead and make your
maximize
attacks.
the way
You do see as soon as the doors open, you bless everybody
Yeah.
once the doors are open. You haven't looked inside because you
Baba
Mage
booey.
Handed just
Yeah.
to open them. You kind of poke your head around the corner and expect to see 2, but see 3 flame skulls.
Fuck.
It appears as though the one that was there, the one that was destroyed, you kind of look instinctively on the
Oh,
ground, and you see that there is no trace of it on the ground. It appeared to have regenerated.
Cool.
Okay.
These fuckers
So,
come back.
So
Alright.
you got 3 attacks, you got 3 flame skulls. What are you hitting?
The
Great.
one that's closest to us.
Okay, go ahead and make your first
The
attack.
action economy dictates this would be a fair.
Now these are open.
Is that cocked?
Yes.
It looks like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
one's
So this was one.
So there's going to be 1 here,
Bada booey.
here. and 1
Fuck.
front.
I liked the other one
I know,
better.
me too. It's fine.
Okay, first attack.
Okay. 13.
13 just hits.
Sweet. Okay.
Don't worry, Jody. I got the battle music. Oh fuck.
8 damage.
8 points of damage, okay. Second attack.
Yeah, not 20.
Oh
Nice.
shit!
So altogether, that is a 32 to
Yep,
hit.
not 20's an auto hit, so
Yeah.
go for it.
And I get to double my d8s, right?
Yes.
Yes. Well, this is your second attack.
Yeah, but because I'm
Right,
not
you
20.
rolled it. No.
Yeah, so you get 1d8.
Yeah, so I get to double my d8.
Yes, correct. Sorry, double your d8. I heard
Yeah.
d8s.
I did say d8s, but like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I meant.
Yes.
Was that I get to have 2.
2 and 8.
We're getting back in the swing of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, that's not great. 10 points
10?
of damage.
Okay.
Still something.
All right, third attack.
And
So this is the one with the bonus.
Yeah, it is. And where did
Wait, there's something worthwhile.
sweet.
The
15,
adventures.
25 to hit.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
All right,
This
last
is the one with the
damage.
d6.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, it's an
No,
extra
it's a
d8.
D8.
Yeah, it's an extra d8.
Yeah, Hunter's Mark
Your
would
leg
be
moving?
Yes.
your bonus, but
It is.
I'm not hunter's marking. I'm
this
preserving.
is,
Does it look really
you're all
bad?
using reactions to just fire spells.
Oh, this is a good one. So 12,
Yeah.
17 points of damage.
17 points.
Like the
Wow.
bow for
So
your arm?
first 3 attacks,
And then
one of the
just
flame
staring
skulls starts to
intently.
shatter into pieces. It's still holding itself together. Just
D&D
barely.
fights
It
me
looks
so
like it's
hot.
Okay, can I sort of like back away
Yep,
against
you
the,
easily
into
back
the door?
away against the door. So now nobody's
against the
visible.
wall.
Yeah,
Cool.
nobody's visible again. Doctor, you've got your
I'm
2
gonna
attacks.
pop out.
Pop out, you see 1 badly damaged and 2 looking
Cool.
on.
I'm gonna take my first one at the one that's damaged.
Go for it. First attack.
That is a 28.
Yep, that'll hit.
We have our bless.
So that'll drop
Yeah.
the first one.
Yeah, and it's
Four flash
Chisel.
okay. Cool. So I'm
Okay,
gonna.
so first one you implode
else's
and the
blast
force
again?
damage shatters through the center of the skull,
Nice.
scattering it into
Oh,
pieces
yeah.
and the
2,
flames
3,
licking
4?
on the ground.
Nice.
Second attack.
Hold on. I'm just adding my temporary hit
Okay,
points.
do it.
Second one, I'm gonna aim at the closest one.
Okay.
Oh, so which one is it?
That's a nat 20.
Now
Yeah!
20, do it.
Whoa. So which one's down?
Oh, no.
One's down?
First one.
First one is down. Yeah, you're just going front
Sorry,
attack.
God, I'm sorry.
Double
It's
damage
okay.
or double dice?
It's up to you.
Okay. I'll do double dice.
Okay.
Well, that wasn't the worst thing in the world. That is 16.
16.
16
Nice.
points.
All right. 16
And then
points
I'm
of
gonna
damage.
pop back against the
Back
wall.
in the same day, back against the wall. All right, on from there we come to Allura or Hope. Who's going next? Oh, sorry, you said you were doing Firebolt. I apologize. So yeah, so you're doing Firebolt.
Wait, did we roll initiative?
Nope.
No, but
This is
Sorry,
because
you
you get
were,
to
like,
decide the order for the first
Oh.
one, and then you roll initiative if
I
it
was
doesn't
like,
end.
what
It's a
number
surprise
did I
round because
roll?
they don't know we're coming.
I thought I blacked
That
out. for
was
second.
a 17.
17 does hit. However, when the fire lands, it just kind of gets absorbed into the flame and doesn't do any damage.
guess that does make sense if they're
Immune to fire.
I mean, yeah, I did think that
Unfortunately
could
made
be
of fire.
happen, but I was like, that's a.
So for you, you've got your last attempt. You've got an action, so you can either dash or you can make an attack with an action. And that's it. Because you're essentially, everybody's using a reaction to do something.
Okay.
Shoot it in the face.
I would have
No,
moved back
I'm
to
gonna-
where I was, by the way, just to
Yep.
clarify. Just
Yeah, no,
Okay,
I assumed
so
everybody was doing the
5,
same
10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And I'm going to attack this one here.
Okay, go for it.
With
Pulling out
my this one sword.
this one.
It would have been already
Yep, that's fine.
ignited.
Oh, and they still use it. The sun sword, more like the fun sword. Let's go.
23?
23 hits. They are considered undead. So
Hey!
you get the bonus damage from the sun
Oh.
sword.
Yeah. Red
Okay,
bitches,
and
red.
and
Do I get
it's-
sneak attack?
It's one-on-one target. Come at me, bro.
Nothing personal, kid.
So you are gonna fuck up.
You've got blessed too, so you have. You already used your
Yeah,
attack.
I already
Yeah.
used that for the attack.
Baba Booey. What a move.
All the dammies are gonna
So,
Calculate that.
and then plus another d8. So that, to double check that, it should be 5 d6s and 2 d8s.
Correct, yeah. Because
Okay.
it's 1d8 base and then 1d8 because it's undead.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Plus two.
Damn.
Oh.
That sounds
right.
effective.
Yeah, we like that.
Yeah, let's roll 7 dice
Okay,
of
so
radiant damage.
Does radiant damage affect more than one creature, or just the
37.
37.
Yeah.
Almost would have dropped it from full.
Oh.
From full. You still killed it.
Oh.
But you almost would have dropped it from full.
Oh,
You'd
okay.
taken no
Nice.
damage. So you run in, and
Sweet.
Allura just striding forward, and again, exactly the same thing as what happened with the with the vampire spawn. You just bury the blade in the bottom, and then just extend the sword all the way up through the center as it shatters into pieces, and all the bones fly to the ground. Still burning slightly on the ground, but in pieces
Okay.
now.
Welcome to the bone zone.
It's one attack. It's one action. There isn't a bonus action in this.
Oh,
Because
okay.
we're kind
Yeah.
of using reactions.
Okay,
I'm
yeah,
giving
yeah,
you the
yeah.
ability to
Yeah.
use movement, but
Thank
I can't
you.
do bonus actions. So
Okay.
now we'll go and roll initiative on this one. We're basically just gonna see
one
if
left, right?
enough of you go
Keep
first.
going. Lucky dice, dude.
Oh no. Oh no.
Hope
That's
everyone's
5.
Oh.
Plus 3 bonus to dex.
It's all good. I got a 4.
So, initiative.
28.
Okay, initiative.
Like they just
11.
pointed at me.
11.
23.
16.
22.
Okay, no
It-
issues.
it's dead.
It is dead.
We murdered it.
Hey.
Alright,
God, remember
yeah.
we were all
One,
worried about this?
one,
Like
one,
earlier today,
one.
like an hour ago, we were all worried.
We were smart about it.
Not anymore.
We were. We did it.
You kind of stride in, and so with you firing your 3 shots, it already gets nice and low. And then between the rest of you, Allura, you're essentially just hacking bones at this point, just pissed off at the fact that you can cast
That
Fireball.
time, loyal. That one dropped her last time.
One thing I will say that you do notice,
Yeah.
Leaf especially, is as the bones shatter to the ground, the fire is still on the bones and it begins to dwindle, but it never entirely goes.
It's gonna regenerate.
Can you do some kind of watery thing and try and put out the fire?
Yeah, piss
Whip.
on him.
It's some. Oh my God! Are you really?
The fire remains in the presence of natural water.
What about
Fire
magical?
remains in the presence of
Can I-
geyser water.
Can I hook it with the ice rapier?
Wait! Don't
Still
freeze! Don't
remains.
freeze
The
the
flame
stream,
just
Leaf.
licks around the edges of the blade.
Oh.
It's gonna be like one of those Amazon fish that swim up
Oh.
here.
Oh my god.
Well, I have my
You're
wall of
into a
water that's not
flame?
natural. It's magical.
Don't burn.
Okay.
Yeah, why not? Go for it. Let him live.
Do you want to do it?
Yeah.
Okay. So you cast Wall of Water. The flame continues to burn even under the water.
Dang.
Hey, that's some good fire.
Okay, I'm just gonna go in the door.
Okay.
I've had
So with that, you kind of look to the left of the door you knew was there. You see, in addition to that door, 2 others
Oh,
along the
wow.
hallway at equidistant points.
Wow, excellent.
So essentially, you can think of the doors, and that's why I've got my little boxes
What a
here.
great deal.
There's one door here, one door here, and one door here.
We don't see anything else in the hallway, do we?
You
There's
don't.
no
You
chat.
just see the
1, 2,
door
and
on the other
3,
side that you know
Doctor.
leads
Which
to
one
the
are
Are
other.
you gonna
there
pick?
any hidden doors in this hallway?
I'll say, given the size of the hallway,
Yeah.
there isn't room for a secret door.
Yeah.
Shall we
Do
go
you guys want to work
first
backwards or
one?
forward?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. Okay.
Door number 1.
So
Can we
door number 1.
We'll be checking for traps first, though.
Go ahead and roll an investigation check.
I'll help.
Assisting.
And I'm guiding.
Actually, I
You can't
won't
help me. He can help
yeah.
me.
Guiding. Guide.
And guided by the light.
We're going to Tajikistan.
Oh my god.
Cock.
This one's caught.
Yeah.
Oh god.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, 3. This one was already a 15. That's weird. And then 4. So it's gonna be 19, 24.
24. Best you can tell, not trapped. Just a
Glitter
standard door.
snot's on your side.
I know.
tonight.
Glitter Snot is always on my side, except for one fateful night when it was not. But,
One faithful night.
Okay.
yeah, okay,
So-
great.
Opening up the door, you see on the other side stone blocks resembling tables stand in the center of this room, all covered in dust. Carved into the stone walls are niches filled with hundreds of dusty bottles, most empty, some containing assorted colors of liquid. Cobwebs hang from wooden ladders that lean against all 4 walls, seeming to allow for easy movement between the alcoves. Think of a library, but instead of a library, it's a series of potion bottles.
Hey,
Cool.
Can I make a perception check to see if there's any spooky shit in here?
Sure, make perception checks.
Sick.
Assist.
At advantage.
Oh, fuck. Okay, hold on. Hello.
You know
Too
right
many
there.
dice.
Okay.
Yeah?
That was
Me.
me.
Sorry.
No, it was me. I didn't realize it was there.
I didn't tell you it was
So
there.
that's a 24.
24. Spooky shit. I mean, contents of potion bottles can be spooky.
Fair enough. Anything that would like harm, like
Anything you can harm, as best you can tell, it's a pretty empty room.
Cool.
The dust seems undisturbed. The cobwebs are very much set in
Okay.
Are the
place.
cobwebs like of? Would they appear like the giant spider webs that we've
No.
seen before?
Giant spider webs are actual web giant nets. These are more just standard sized
Yeah.
cobwebs.
Okay, cool. Just wanted that clarification.
Classic
Anyone mind if I
Sherlock's
take a
Web.
look at these
No,
potions?
let's
I know
go
a thing or
examine
two
them.
about them.
Okay, so go ahead and make a. Funnily enough, this is an alchemist check. So it'll just be add your intelligence modifier because you're not proficient with alchemist
Okay.
tools. So just add your intelligence.
Okay. That's cocked. Pop. That is a 14.
14. Tough to tell. The colors of some of the potions are a little bit weird. Like there's some you might think might be potions of healing, but like normally there are gold flecks floating through them, and you kind of agitate the potion a little, and you don't see any flecks. You just see the red liquid.
Given my background selling potions
Yeah.
in my previous life,
Yeah.
is this anything similar to anything I would have dealt in?
There are enough of them that there are some similarities, but they're all slightly different.
I see.
There isn't one that you can pick out that is definitive. Like, this is this, or this is safe, kind of thing.
Is there anything there that resembles the ones from the Vistani camp? Just out of curiosity.
Looking around, there isn't. The Vistani camp ones
I know those were fake. Yeah, I'm
were,
just like-
were fake, and you remember them pretty well, and you kind of pull one of them out of your bag and look at it. None of those that
Yeah.
recognize that.
Do we have any? Does anyone have a potion of healing on them at
Yeah,
the
I've
moment to
got one.
compare?
So you lift it up, and the major thing with the potions of healing is that it's a red liquid that's got gold flecks floating through it. These ones do not have the gold flecks.
I see.
It's just the red liquid, and it looks like it might be slightly different shade.
Anyone opposed to just pocketing these and checking them out later?
Sure.
There are a lot of them. We're looking probably 3 to 4 dozen.
We have that
different bottles, but
box
they're
of-
all different types. There's red ones. There's black ones.
take the
Yeah. Is there anyone
Light blue.
We have that
resembling the
box-
potion of invulnerability?
There isn't anything that's like an iron-like liquid. No.
Okay.
We have that box of potion carrying, so we could just pick a
Oh.
few and bring them with us.
So, I did I emptied out all the fake potions and filled them with vials from the water at Trace.
You did. Yeah.
So, I mean, if anybody wants to try one of those, but I'm pretty sure those will do some good.
Oh yeah, if anyone's feeling.
Anyone's feeling a little down.
Anyway, let's pick a few likely looking potions just randomly, see what we can find. Maybe everyone picks someone and we bring them with us.
Yeah. Leaf, any of these strike you as particularly magical? Mayhap we could
Or
do
like
some-
Make a
anything
medicine
medicinal.
check.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
make a
Can I
Can I
assist
assist?
with that?
Sure. At advantage.
Alright, cool.
Do any of the bottles look particularly intricate and fancy?
The bottles, strangely enough, are all identical.
22.
That's annoying.
I got 22.
22. You instinctively like pick up and kind of do the waft
Yeah.
a little bit on a couple of them and kind of.
You ever smoke any?
They might just be
That's-
off. They've
that's
been here for
turn.
many years, right?
I think this
That's turn, and you kind of like get through a good 4 or 5 of them. And you start to realize these were probably once potions, but given how long these cases sat, the magical aura of them
The expiry
might
date.
not be there.
I'd flip it all the best
The
before.
BV date, yeah.
Some of the ingredients are best
Yeah.
when consumed fresh, kind of idea.
We don't
And
wanna
you
get
start to actually
magic
realize there's
botulism.
one potion especially that has like a very intricate gray color to it, and you agitate it, and all of a sudden you realize that the gray is actually just a layer of sediment on the bottom, and it kind of just forms moldy little pockets inside.
Oh, this
Yeah,
is fun.
Stephanie passed
Yeah.
it to use by. It's not best before.
You
it's
kind
a
of
use
realize
by.
that while the doctor was looking for magical use, you were just looking for, is this safe to drink? And the answer is pretty much no.
Okay, yeah, we can leave these.
Okay, let's move
Alright,
on.
so door number 2.
Door number
Back to
2.
Ernest.
All right, similar investigations.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Check
we'll say
for
we'll do the
traps.
same
Yep.
thing, so check for traps. Whoever wants to do that.
Assist.
Yeah, I'm just assuming that I'm doing it at advantage
Yeah,
right
You're
now.
so
Yeah.
helpful.
And with
Well,
guidance.
you know, it was my idea. So it was like
Investigation. 26.
I'm excited
6.
for my new character.
Not trapped as
Corn.
best you can tell. Okay. Door
Number two.
opens.
Bad dude.
10 feet in front of you, you see a large amber door.
Oh.
Just a
Okay.
very, very short little
No,
hallway.
no, my new
Center.
character.
Center.
Corn Pop.
Okay.
So it's just a
Get
10
shown
foot
up
long,
with the
5 foot
bull
wide
around
hallway,
us
and another amber door directly in front of you.
Is anyone opposed to going through this door?
I'd say we check the last door first,
Sure.
then come back around.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
I'm sorry. As we come back into the hallway, look at door number 3. Do the bones with of the flame skulls look like they've changed or started to reconfigure themselves at
I'll
all?
say with the amount of time you spent in that room, you notice that the flames are starting to get a little bit bigger.
Okay, can we step on them?
Can we like throw
Or-
some of them through the arrow slits? Like
Yeah,
separate
The
separate
pieces
them.
are small enough if you wanted to.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's
That
leave
sounds fun.
some here and separate some
They're
of
like
them.
trying to get.
Where's
to
the broom? Anyone? Dustpan?
Yeah.
Dustpan?
Mage hand, crab.
Yeah, I'm gonna mage hand as
Out
well.
the.
Crab
Like
tries
a
to
dust
grab it.
said it was
He's
a
basically
crab.
using chopsticks, bud.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna use
Single
my
pieces.
I'm gonna use my mage hand that's in the hand and use it to drop some bits.
So you start to drop some bits out of there.
Can
and
I
make
form
your
a
way up
Turchi
to-
just like.
Yeah, and you scatter some of the pieces across the ground a little bit more.
Just to make it a little harder.
Leaf just stares at them. I can't.
Third door, we'll say same checks.
Door
Door
number
doesn't appear to be
3.
traps as
Cool.
best you can
I
tell.
don't know how to make it like a hand.
So, opening up this door, dominating this room is a 12-foot tall model of a dark castle with high walls and tall spires that looks eerily familiar, but on a much smaller scale.
Is that so?
Behind it, tucked in a corner, are some ruined furnishings and a medium-sized wooden chest.
Can I investigate the fuck out of this castle?
I love
Certainly
models.
can.
Someone's
You
been,
would.
someone's been playing D&D in here.
Version?
So,
Or like the version before they built it.
the castle is a fully intact, complete, almost pristine replica of Ravenloft.
Oh my god, we can see how to get in and out of
100%.
Huh. Can I spend a little bit of time making a map of it?
So all it is an exterior shot.
Oh, just exterior.
But we could potentially look inside of it.
You kind of look and try to find a way to like lever pieces out or anything like that. It appears to just be a molded exterior carving of the whole castle. It doesn't appear to be something that you can interact with as best you can tell.
We can't like break it.
You can try if you want to.
Hey, lass.
I take out a kerchief and draw a little face on it and put it on the battlement. I'm strong. I'm a big jerk.
Let Strahd's in there.
And we're gonna
Strahd's in there,
go
man.
check out that chest
Check out the chest.
and
Okay.
I'm gonna walk
investigate it.
Sure.
We don't trust guys and stuff.
Does anyone want
Best you can
bread?
tell, not
take a
locked,
bread.
not
I'll take
trapped.
a bread.
It's just there.
Thank you.
So, lifting the lid.
I think there's butter.
Ooh, I'll take a butter.
Lifting
oh
the
yeah, I
lid,
brought that.
you see an old leather map case.
Ooh.
And turning it over, you see a single name on there, Ravenloft.
Dun, dun,
yeah.
dun, 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 dun.
The
Dun, dun,
Sorry,
dun,
I'm
dun,
not
dun, dun, dun.
Well,
So
well.
you see the map
It's empty,
case, and you instinctively, oh dear God, and you open it up, and it is empty.
fuck.
Bum, bum, ba-dum.
Does it, or is it just appear empty?
Smack, smack.
What's your passive perception?
It's 10.
10? Okay.
Can I have been assisting her?
Would you?
No, because of the sword.
Ah!
Would you perhaps like a hand, Allura?
It's no one. It's
No.
not
Yeah.
anything that anyone. It's just you're all looking at the statue or at the castle.
Yeah.
You went over and looked at the thing. So.
Oh no, Leaf said that
Yeah,
he
I
went over
followed.
with her.
Oh, you did
Yeah, I
follow?
did.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
What
what's your
is-
passive?
15 or
15?
yeah. Sorry.
15? So you kind of like instinctively are looking at the case and are so dejected, and you kind of toss the case back into the bottom. And Leaf, you just hear a little ka-dunk, like there's a rattle in the bottom
Yeah.
of the chest.
It's a false
It's a
door.
false bottom.
Yeah.
And you kind of instinctively reach in and kind of find a place to be able to hook a dagger in underneath that. And on the underside, you see a very large, thick book.
Thick.
One would call it a tome of some kind. And pushing that aside, you do see there is also a rattled scroll.
Okay, can I just and sorry, these aren't trapped or are we?
No, nothing is trapped, nothing is locked, it's just in there.
Can we take both of them?
Yeah, you take both of them out. The scroll, you kind of you remove it from a very small bone tube, and kind of looking at it and pulling it open, you recognize the words on this. This is a spell scroll of greater restoration.
Cool.
Hell yeah.
Cool.
The tome, beginning to leaf through that, it's an interesting piece. I'm just going to quickly.
You do you.
So, first things first, I'm going to give you the greater restoration spell
Sounds
scroll.
good.
Hey.
First
Mamma
with a
mia.
realize.
So,
Did you already caught that?
I can cast that, but it's good to have.
So, you see, kind of leafing through the book,
Yeah.
taking the better part of 30 seconds or so, kind of thumbing through the pages, you see words of knowledge and expertise on intuition and exercises to see true meanings behind words, and a series of different races described within the book. It's a very interesting one, but you're not entirely sure what it does.
Different races?
Yeah, so essentially being able to understand and see into the minds of other races.
Fascinating.
Psychology.
Okay, we'll keep this for later.
Okay. But yeah, the scroll definitely of interest, especially with what everyone was discussing earlier, not having that ability if you wanted to try.
Hey, Les.
What?
Heard that castle had Strahd in it.
What?
This little castle right
Hit it over.
Okay. You knock the castle over, and it hits the ground, and you expect it to shatter, and it just kind of thuds onto the ground. It is very hard material.
Solid.
Yeah, very solid.
Okay, shall we
Oh,
shall we check out what was
you're a mensch.
Get a little plate for that so it doesn't
Well, I'm pretty satisfied. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing if... Les, do you mind just putting that... I hear Strahd hates it when you put that thing back on where it is.
Nah, I'm good.
Okay.
You want to do it?
It's just tipped over on the floor.
Okay. Can I, peek my head into it? Is there anything inside of it?
Kind of look in as best you can in the windows. The windows do
Says
open and you
made
can
in
see
China.
tiny little bits inside rooms, but the rooms just appear very bare. It appears to be more of an external
Oh, I see. Okay.
shot of what Ravenloft looks like.
Okay. Can I do a quick check to see if there's any hidden doors or hidden somethings around?
Sure, make a perception check.
Okay. Well, that's not so good.
Can I be assisting in any way?
Sure.
Okay. Thank
That's
you.
fine.
Good job.
Oh, much better. That's a 26.
26. There does appear to be a secret door in the room.
Oh, let's check that
It
out.
leads into so the hallway that you went that you saw the other door in.
Yeah.
This secret door appears to potentially lead out just on the other side of where that closed door is.
Fascinating.
I got out of hand real quick.
Want some bread with your butter?
No.
Roll 2 on that there, huh?
When in doubt, add butter.
So there is a secret door there. You would imagine that it would lead into the same hallway that you just
Okay.
haven't opened the door for.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's go back to that hallway then. That sounds fun.
Quick question,
Listening.
Answer.
Leaf. Can you pull out your that icon of Ravenloft?
Mm-hmm.
Can you compare the image that we have on that, or that is of, to the one that's carved here?
It's a little person.
Yeah.
That's
The
just
icon of
the name.
Ravenloft
Oh.
is essentially somebody kneeling in supplication.
Oh, okay.
This is the actual castle itself.
Okay, never mind.
I put the icon back into the baby Bjorn. Okay,
Yeah.
where are we going?
Let's hit up that hallway, guys.
Should we send Rick down it?
I don't mind. Rick, do you mind? Nah, it's cool, bro. It's fine. Everyone's in.
So, pushing through, finding that door again, untrapped the large amber door, you open it up. On the other side, Rick flying down in a 10-foot long staircase. He flies over, and his wings, as he's flying, are disturbing decades of untouched dust on the ground, even hovering 5-6 feet off the ground. The pressure of the wings. There probably hasn't been anybody down here in 60, 70, 80 years.
Invisible, also.
Yeah. The stairs cut left upon reaching a 10-foot square landing below. And reaching that, they descend another 10 feet before cutting left again.
So he's on the bottom floor now.
Yeah, so he's essentially made his way down to the bottom floor.
Okay.
And the stairs let out, and he can see that on his right,
Like
kind of just to
bakery.
his left, he sees an opening that leads into the center area. You would imagine the staircase, based on where he is kind of one of the alcoves from the bottom. So where your cross is, you guys are on this side. He's essentially down underneath at this point.
Okay.
And he can see that there's a door on his right, a door on his left, a little ways down. There's a lot of other places here, but all the doors do appear to be closed from what you can tell.
I'm just gonna pop them back up. So there's doors. Lots of them.
More doors.
More doors.
More doors.
We got what we came for.
Mordor?
Do we throw the ring in, or?
Well, we should really
I'm
get
down
the
to keep
eagles
going,
to take
but-
it.
Right, yeah. Would have been
I'm
much
okay to keep
easier.
going too, but you know.
I'm not. We keep fucking pushing our luck. I don't
Uh-huh.
know.
Again and again and
Yep.
again. I think it's safe to say there's going to be more doors that will lead to more doors that will lead to more doors that will lead to more doors and possibly more doors.
So I'll say as well, with the amount of time that you were in the other room looking at the different pieces there, you kind of stepped back outside, and with you scattering all the pieces of the flame skulls across the floor, you started to notice that they've begun to shift a little bit on the floor and appear to be kind of pulling themselves back closer
T1000.
But we threw some out into the.
Yeah.
Are we just gonna come back and there's just some floating like 30 feet up there?
I'm not sure. But they do appear to be at least moving on the floor.
There are a lot
With
of
the
Against
and
the
with the
clock.
distance that you put between them, you notice that they actually are almost visibly being pulled towards each other at this point.
Okay,
the same,
so
the same bundles, or like are they combining the pieces that they didn't have with
Coalescing into the separate three.
each other? Okay.
but they're much smaller.
Oh
I'm in the
my
mind. I think we've got our sword. Now we have a map.
We don't actually
We
have
don't
a
have a
map.
map.
We don't have a map.
I do have
Oh,
I
right.
do have the player's handbook though. It's,
That's right.
It's 4th edition, unfortunately.
Hey, did the model of the castle have any like alternate entrances to it?
I was gonna ask that too. Yeah.
I thought that's one
Alternate
of the things you'd
entrances?
asked.
Good question.
Yeah.
Let me check.
I was gonna say, where are the sewers on this?
Or at least so we could see like if there's any
Yeah.
doors or.
The sewer level.
Were there any cracks in the wall that if we know if we throw a bomb at it,
That's
we'll be
right,
able to
yeah.
open?
A bomb or bong?
A bomb.
Throw a bong at it.
Yeah.
Glass shatters.
Legend of Zelda style.
Yeah,
Gross
just
swamp-
kind of
swamp
making
water.
note of
Actually, I was gonna say to you before we leave, I'd like to like really examine the
That
model
bomb
and
looked
just sort of like try to remember.
Yeah.
What it looked like, where the turrets were, what kind of
how many windows,
access there was.
potential.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't mind doing
basically.
a quick drawing of it.
Like
Yeah.
a sketch
That's
of the
a great
outside.
idea.
Yeah. I'm gonna pee.
Have fun.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do it over there, Hope.
Over there. Okay.
On the flame skulls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slow down the regeneration a little bit.
It's real bread. It's tough bread.
No, it's just this is
Bad knife.
worst knife of all time.
I wasn't gonna say anything, but I was
No,
like, dang.
it's terrible. Like it's to the point where
I have a very
probably-
bad bread knife also. I don't like, yeah.
This
We
was
need- we
gifted
need to
to
get
me
that
when I
one
moved
sharpened.
here by my mom, but like
Boy, me mum.
Boy, me mom.
Oh,
Okay, so
boy.
the plan, are we wrapping here?
I mean, again, I wouldn't mind doing some more exploring, but I also understand that a lot of people in the party don't feel the same way. We got a chicken fish over here, and we got a.
Don't you fucking call me anything.
This is a chicken fish. You're my friend, Leaf. That's what I'm calling you.
I have voice cracking.
these are
Don't you
these are
fuck-
pathetic.
Sorry.
Strips. I'm gonna cut my fingers off.
Are we looking to draw a map right now? Is that what you're...
Yeah, I'm trying to draw a map of what we can for the castle.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, if this is something we can get, like, another...
I'm just trying to look and see. So alternate entrances.
Yeah. Or anything else that we can glean about the castle from the model.
Right.
Or yeah, just like sort of like like where the towers are, what kind of amount of windows there are,
Useful
like
information.
anything anything useful
Yeah.
for when we're sneaking in there to do a sneak
Is
attack.
it like a 4-bed, 4-bath? Like, is it in a good neighborhood?
What's its walk score?
Yeah, I'd like to know that.
Walkability.
Like, what are the schools nearby?
Yeah. Has it got good transit?
Does it have a grocery store or like just a bodega?
Okay. I'll say from the map, you can determine some of the things you already knew. It's a castle.
Yep.
Gigantic towers and buttresses are one.
Am I
The
good to
main
look
gate.
into that Bourson?
Yeah. The main gate appears to be the primary entrance.
Okay.
But the castle replica goes much deeper than the main floor. So you'd imagine there would be a dungeon of some kind underneath.
That's not a
Again,
shocker.
not a shocker.
A basement.
Like there might be a.
Let me take you to the pleasure room.
Beyond that, not much. It looks like the whole point of this really is it was designed to be a military strategic encampment. There wasn't a reason to have alternate entrances or exits.
I see.
Except for the one that we burst out of.
We came out the front door,
you
didn't
came
we?
out the front door.
Yeah.
It was
What?
just
Yeah.
Yeah.
you came out the front door of the castle. It was that
Okay.
you found a
There was
essentially just a spiral staircase that went down one of the turrets from where you entered in, and that was it.
and then we saw some red golden doors and we saw stuff beyond them and then we were like, nope, and then we
We opened it and we definitely saw like that boss
There
is
were
too
spawn
high a
and
level.
stuff,
Let's
yeah.
go back.
Yeah.
I will say, given the
go back to your last save point.
given relevant
Let me see
size,
stuff.
there are a few spires, tower peaks that stand very high. Almost the entire size of the castle, and then again, but it's just the peaks of
I see.
spires. So that
Do
would
we
just be an
think-
like
interesting
he's
piece of
I guess
compensating
if
for
we could have
something.
been in one of those.
Yeah, I feel like he's either super vanilla or super kinky.
Oh, he's super vanilla.
But
Sometimes
really defensive about it.
Now hold on. Sometimes I take my socks off, and it's very exciting.
All right,
that-
Jermaine Clemens.
Papa needs his traction.
my feet get cold otherwise.
It's Wednesday night, and that means it's business time.
Gotta put
His
the
idea-
recycling out. It's
Yeah.
not
Right.
part of the sexy routine, but it's
Well, I've got
important.
one idea.
So that's about all you can glean from the map.
Do we just kind of based on the time? Do we think we'll be okay with our?
Sorry, sorry. Say
I'm
Just
sorry.
based on the time, do we think we're okay to make a shot for it?
What do
To
you mean?
get
So
out of here
rolling-
without the flame skulls.
Without
seeing
the without the rock.
us. Oh, right. That too.
Do we think we're gonna be able?
Oh, yeah, 100%. You haven't short rested.
Okay, cool.
Right?
Just want
It's,
to double
it's
check.
still like you've been going for maybe another 40 minutes to an
Alright,
hour or
cool.
so.
Just
Like
wanna make
you've
sure.
still got a decent chunk of
Can we
daylight.
smell what the rock is cooking?
You might be able to later on.
Rudy poo.
So,
Is it a
so
bunch
yeah,
of
so
brownies?
the choice really is for
Yeah,
you.
candy.
You know that it's a 2-day journey to get back to
Yeah,
Craig.
but we can
Craig.
stop at that watchtower, right? We could make a push for that.
You could try. That might be a little bit of a stretch. Because the watchtowers on the Salenko Pass,
Okay.
those ones are a bit tough to get to. The alternative, of course, being you kill a couple of hours in here, spend the night, and then set out the following morning. In which case, you would definitely be able to make it to those watchtowers for an overnight halt.
Should we do that?
Yeah.
Should we make our camp?
Okay.
Suits me. Let's go tell our new best friend, Vilnius.
So
Our new party mascot.
pushing your way back across, staying on the top floor. Again, you notice the flame skull pieces are starting to move a little bit closer together.
We take one piece and bring it with us.
What is interesting as well is because in order to get across to the other side, you have to walk across the balcony that looks down over the bottom, and you see again the lit little pieces of skull on the ground, and a few of them are starting to float off of the ground and begin to kind of pull their way up to the top. You would imagine it would take maybe another half hour or so from now, and they would probably have those pieces all together.
Cool.
You don't know the nature of how this works, but they appear to be reassembling
These are
themselves.
dark magics.
I feel like maybe like a dispel magic might.
That might, but as it turns out,
I'm a little tapped.
I'm a little dry right now.
So, pushing your way back across, finding
Shot
Vilnius
4 or 5
again.
times
You
already.
kind of open the door up, and he just instinctively.
Vilnius,
Looks out and
we're
just-
home.
Oh, thank goodness it's all of you. Okay, so, are we leaving?
We're gonna hold up for the night, buddy, and then we're gonna leave in the morning.
Got one more night in here.
You're welcome to.
We thought you might appreciate a chance to say goodbye to this place you love so dear.
There's also many dangers
Do you have
outside.
any more food?
Yes, Vilnius.
This fucking guy.
We fed him enough, don't you?
Or why don't we talk about your mushroom story? Maybe that'll feed him.
So
Well,
I'll
the
leave
gift
just
of
telling the
knowledge.
mushroom
Mushrooms
story.
are disgusting.
Oh, this guy.
Wow, you've officially lost my support.
God, he sounds like you, Allura.
Excuse me?
Whoa!
Trying to start
Whoa,
something
shots
right
fired.
I'm just saying, it sounds, a little picky.
Does his accent sound like Allura's accent, actually?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Yeah, completely.
We're
different
having
areas.
fun here.
So much fun.
Okay, so can we just kind of start?
So he just kind of like is in the corner, and you can hear him just kind of grumbling to himself, and he's like, you kind of catch on a little bit. You think you hear his stomach grumbling, and then you realize it's him just going.
This dude.
Like to try and make the sounds of a stomach rumbling, so that
Wow.
he can try
Wow.
and
The
something.
worst.
Love him. What a great guy.
Oh my god, is he just like John Ralphio from
That's
Pop?
Oh my god, yes.
He's back from
I got my number by That's this guy, for sure.
Need a cure wins.
Yeah. Somebody needs to give
All
me
right.
some snacks.
So should we kind of hold up in here?
Yeah, holding up for the rest of the evening.
Yeah.
Is there anything anybody would like to do before you go to sleep?
I would like to investigate the robe I'm wearing.
Yeah, can I look at that as well?
Yeah, come on, Leaf. Let's take a look at the robe.
Obsidian thing.
The obsidian thing? Sure.
Yeah.
I want to check and see if there's
I
anything
wanna
hidden
look
in the
in your
room.
How do the
Hidden
doors
doors or corners or
Is the
anything.
door open this way?
The door opens inwards towards
So
the
can we
chamber.
click the immovable rod across
You
it?
certainly can.
Yeah, good
The rod is
question.
Smart.
clicked.
Or anything like under the table. Like drawers or anything.
Did
So-
you tell anyone about your
Oh
tome?
yeah, I pull out the 4th edition player's handbook and say, "Oh, I found this.
That looks
Take some
fascinating.
time to maybe. Can I take some time to kind of look
Does it
through
say
it?"
anything about drow?
Let me check.
Let's find out.
What am I thinking right now?
Sunlight sensitivity.
I'm curious. Well, he's all
Yeah,
like
can I
that.
make would it be
So we'll go through this,
Yeah, yeah.
and I'll
Yeah,
let
okay.
you guys do that. So you're looking at the robe,
Yeah.
you're looking at the obsidian block,
Yeah.
you're looking for any alternative exits to the room.
Or like hidden stuff.
Hidden stuff. Gotcha.
Hidden
Les,
stuff.
you doing anything?
I'm gonna sit down cross-legged and meditate.
Meditate.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully.
I'm intrigued by the tome,
Should
so
I
I'm
go
like,
to
I want some
Okay.
tome
All right,
time.
so we'll start off with the robe. Get that one out of the way. So I'll get both of you two to please make Arcana checks for me.
Oh. That is a 15.
15.
That is Arcana. That's also a 15.
Also a 15.
But you don't have any on your
Probably
That's
magical.
0.
You don't know the nature of it,
Yeah,
but something about the robe is just like these patches are too weird. Like no self-respecting magician would wear this.
Can we take
Basically.
one off and look at it, or?
Yeah, can I just like investigate the patches?
Sure. So give me a color. Because there's a patch of most colors.
Okay,
We'll say of the primary.
Sure, like a yellow.
Yellow? Okay. So you take a yellow patch and you begin to peel it off of the robe. Give me a second here.
Peeling it away.
Yeah. Planning for multi-class.
Immediately sniff it. Scratch a peel and sniff.
So you peel a yellow patch and you begin to peel it off, and as you do, the patch kind of releases from the robe, and all of a sudden you kind of like look down at your hand and you blink once, and you're holding a lantern, and the patch has been removed from the robe.
Guys.
And the lantern is lit, and it's actually, you kind of turn it around, and it's what's referred to as a bullseye lantern. It creates a
it's like a-
10-foot perfect shaft of light
It's a
that
flashlight.
extends 60 feet out.
This is so
Cool.
And it's filled with oil. You kind of feel it sloshing around a little bit, and you look back at the robe, and the robe itself is undamaged, as if the patch didn't exist there previously.
Oh, do you think you can
What about
reattach?
putting the
Just
put
stick it back.
on.
I mean, I don't think so.
Kind of like
know.
instinctively just
No.
physical object that you appeared to pull a patch off, and it became something else.
Cool.
That's so cool.
Super cool.
What shape was the yellow patch as well before
It was
pulling
the one that had the Starburst logo on it.
That makes sense.
Like a
So
sun.
sorry, what are the other?
So there's quite a few. There's a steely gray one that just has a picture of a set of tri-daggers on it.
Oh, that's a
Um,
trident.
There is a one that looks almost like an odd oval, and again is kind of like grayish,
Like a
with
beam?
kind of a darker piece potentially. You're not sure. There's one that's just like looks like a very long stick.
Okay.
There are some additional ones of interest. There's one that appears to just be a small sack, kind of held together by a gold
Rope.
rope, yeah,
Okay.
around the top of it. There does appear to be a very interesting one. It's kind of like, imagine a hilltop
Done.
with a beam of light descending.
Nice.
That's kind of a cool one.
Ooh.
There's one that's just straight up a boat. Just a
Okay.
picture of a
There's a
boat.
boat in this thing.
Yeah. So it's a very interesting thing. You're not entirely
This is
sure
so
what they all
fucking
do,
cool.
but I'll say over the course of the evening, because you've got a good chunk of hours, you kind of do your best and figure out what you think all of these are, and we'll say that you find out.
Hey,
That's
nice.
cool.
So it is a robe of useful items.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's fucking cool.
Guys, there's useful items in
Okay,
here.
some of these are like kind of.
Yeah, some of them are kind of weird, and some of them are like, what?
I
the
love
fuck?
this.
This robe has
fuck
so
is
much
that
scope.
one?
Shut
Brett,
up.
can
It's
we
brilliant.
Can we read? Can you read them aloud?
Can we talk about that
you.
one?
Okay, we're
That's
getting
good.
good.
Behind.
So, here's
From the top.
what's in here. It's red and yellow and purple and gold and ochre and crimson and steel and gold. Anyway, not the point. I'm doing Joseph and the Amazing Technology.
I was with
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I was in the theater.
Sorry. Yeah.
Sorry.
This robe has cloth patches of various shapes and colors covering it. While wearing the robe, you can use an action to detach one of the patches, causing it to become the object or creature it represents.
Creature.
We're getting there. Once the last patch is removed, the robe becomes an ordinary garment. The robe has 2 of each of the following patches: dagger, bullseye lantern,
So I got one of those.
steel mirror, 10-foot pole, hempen rope,
Don't need this
50
one.
Let's talk
inches,
about
50
leaf
feet, coiled, sack. In addition, the robe has the following patches:
Full and sack.
bag of 100 gold,
Cool.
moonbeam spell scroll, not
Ooh.
for you, Casimir. Iron door up to 10 feet wide and 10 feet tall, barred on the side of your choice, which you can place in an opening you can reach. It then conforms to fit the opening, attaching and hinging itself.
That's
Minecraft?
cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Fun.
So it's just the robe of Minecraft. 4 potions of healing.
What?
Nice.
Riding horse,
Sweet.
which is my new best friend. Going to call him, let's say, Buttercup.
Do we have a buttercup?
We have marigold.
We have marigold.
Marigold, cinnamon, marigold, buttercup.
Wooden ladder. A pit which you can place on the ground within 10 feet of you to transform into an empty cubed hole with 10-foot edges.
Cool.
And finally, the last thing in the robe of useful items. Here we go. A rowboat.
A rowboat.
Dude, that thing is really cool.
So that mirror deal, getting sunlight in potentially.
It's true, we could actually do a full on.
Oh yeah, we could just do a whole like Raiders thing.
Yeah.
Oh
I'm trying
yeah.
to think.
You know, the play Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Is my favorite play on Broadway.
I was thinking of the Mummy, but
Yeah, me too. Where they're like, and Rachel
Different
Wise.
strokes, different folks.
so it's
Yeah.
so a bunch of patches. The top
Also,
section you got
vintage
2 of
friend
each.
or
The
favorite?
bottom section you got 1 of each.
Okay, gotcha.
Cool.
That's
I
fine.
feel it.
What
So
did I see?
that's that.
Oh,
Obsidian
charming.
block.
Yeah.
Spending some time pouring over the obsidian block. Money. This is worth a lot of money if you could get it out of here. Even shards of obsidian are worth a ton because of the amount of pressure and the rarity of it, and usually found around volcanoes, essentially volcanic glass, typically associated with dragons, ancient draconic bloodlines. There is a lot of value in this. Beyond that, nothing of any real note per se.
And in terms of like, because I don't care about the value, but things that are carved from this tend to be very beautiful and very intricate.
Yes.
So like, I could potentially get something made.
You could, but the block is 20 feet tall, 10 feet wide, and 4 feet thick. So it would weigh thousands of pounds. And you
Okay.
notice with the sheer number of chains holding it, even trying to like move it is incredibly difficult. Yeah. It's something that you do notice that there are kind of shavings, like as if pieces have been chipped off of it. And I'll say with your background and with the presence of other mages in the area, obsidian is a very sought after piece for a lot of arcane focuses. It's a very specific thing that will allow very strong magical effects to be imbued into the obsidian. So there was a potential this was essentially mined and brought here with the express purpose of making items.
Okay.
We could perhaps chip some off. I have
Yeah.
iron spikes.
Well, I was gonna see if potentially the sun sword, if like,
It
So
carves
the
some
interesting
off.
thing with the sun sword is because of the nature of the blade,
yeah.
it essentially just passes through the obsidian. It doesn't actually find purchase on an edge.
It's
It's
like,
It's not
like-
a real blade.
Yeah, because it's not a physical blade, so passing it through volcanic glass doesn't have any real effect.
Huh.
Okay.
Oh,
What do we
iron
think
spikes.
was iron spikes?
You
Okay,
can
let's
chip
try that.
Alright, so you take out a couple of iron spikes, place them
Are
up
we
against the
fucking
edge of them,
with this thing?
and chip,
Oh,
chip,
yeah.
chip, and break the iron spike against it. It doesn't actually penetrate it.
well, by
Iron apparently not strong enough to penetrate the obsidian.
Not enough to
Not enough to
get
break
a piece of black obsidian.
No.
I get really excited when I have like real world versions of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you can ask in a wee bit if my great sword can hack at it,
In a wee bit.
I don't want to break it.
because we are.
Doing
Yeah,
something?
go look at the
Cool.
hand.
Doing
Okay.
We're doing a real prop play.
Yeah,
right
we've
now.
been having a
What
little
are
bit
we
of a bit
seeing?
like.
So, looking around the room for secret doors, make a perception check for me. Or secrets.
Secrets. Leaf, do you have a second to just give me some
I'll
encouragement?
assist.
I guess, here you go.
Assisting with and guidance.
Okay. Perception?
Just gotta run over Cap, run back.
24.
24. Start lifting up a couple of benches, look behind the pulpit, shove Vilnius out of the way.
Classic
Um,
Vilnius.
You don't really notice too much. You do notice that he,
Stay evil. His name's
underneath his collar, as you kind of push him out of the way, has got some kind of a chain hanging around his neck. You don't see what it's attached to, but there's something that he's wearing underneath
his
all of his
chastity
exterior
belt.
garments. I'll say that's the one thing that you really notice.
It's his chainmail bikini.
As for you
Princess
two,
Leia's.
looking at the book,
Oh, what's in here?
beginning to read it, because you've got several hours.
Yeah.
Which of you is actually reading the book?
Say I.
Okay, so Leaf, you begin to read the book.
Yeah.
Over the course of several hours, the words you start to realize are kind of charged in some way. And you start to feel like
It's a
you kind of look
political
up from the
book.
book and you can kind of see the room. And looking at the people around the room, they kind of sharpen in clarity a little bit. Like you can see micro expressions that they're making that you couldn't really notice before. The book, best you can tell, is definitively magical. You don't know the nature of it. But the book itself appears to have some power behind the words that you're reading. But it is a lengthy book. And you don't know exactly how long it would take you to read, or even what the nature of it is. You would probably have to identify it to figure it out.
Well,
Wowza.
that's boring. Interesting.
That's boring.
So, guys, I got another book we could be looking at. It's about a guy with real long hair and some radical ideas. No, it's the identification book.
Do you want
The
to try and
Bible.
identify this thing?
How many pages are left?
I think two.
All right.
Do you want to try and identify this
If you want to, yeah, I'm in.
Sure. Give it a swing.
I'll do the thing.
Alright, I will cast Guidance.
Since it is.
What a mouth. Now, there was this guy who used to be a lifeguard over where I used to lifeguard. His name was Corn Pop. 7, 8, 9.
I thought
Plus
that was
my
17.
intelligence.
God damn it.
13.
13?
So,
Succeeds.
DC 12. Yeah.
It's 12. So it succeeds.
Oh, thank fuck.
It was the
So
Biden joke.
the
that was
interesting
killing
thing
me.
really is you're essentially just writing pages from the book in the book,
Hey,
right? Just much smaller script describing the exterior of it. And the words fade in and they come back and it's just an image of the book. With the title Tome of Understanding.
I'll never fucking understand people.
This item right here.
Thank you so much, sir.
Nice.
So we're going to read this one out.
Yeah.
You spend 48 hours over a period of 6 days or fewer studying the book's contents and practicing its guidelines. Your wisdom score permanently increases by 2, as does your maximum for that score. The manual then loses its magic, regaining it in 100 years.
Whoa.
That's
fucking-
that's
Yeah.
pretty
Whoa.
cool.
You're so
So
wise.
48 hours over 6 days means you're reading the book 8 hours a day. Uninterrupted, that is all you can be doing. And if
Okay.
if you take a break at any points and you exceed that 6-day period,
Yep.
you restart from the beginning.
Okay.
So you've started.
So you started. We'll say with the amount of time left in the day, you have 6 hours. You
Yep.
can do one
Can I-
session of it,
yeah,
or
can
you
I
can
do
try
that?
and push it if you wanted to. Oh, sorry. It's 8 hours a day, I should say. So
Yeah.
6 hours is kind of when everybody starts to turn in for the evening. If you'd like, you can push it a little bit further. If you wanted to take first watch and
Yeah.
solely read the book, you wouldn't be on watch. You would just be
We
reading.
we barred the door, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
the book.
Are we cool with that?
Suits me.
Okay. So you take your
I could
first
do
shift
first
doing
watch
that.
with Leaf, and because I only need 4 hours to go.
All right.
Yeah.
Is your spellcasting based off of
That's
wisdom? That's
That would give me a big old. Oh wait, sorry. It increase. So
Yeah. So
Alright.
your
Yeah.
maximum becomes 22, and it increases your score by 2 over whatever your current is.
yeah, that's all right.
The most-
Because that would be the maximum.
The-
Then.
sorry.
I would hit the max. Like I would be at 22 then. I'm at 20 right now.
You're at 20 right now.
So it
You would
be a
increase
6?
it to 22.
Whoa. So it would be a
That's
6.
The
cool.
wisest,
Tomes
most
are a
well
very
endowed.
sought after item.
Yeah, that's.
You know, as you were reading through this, the sheer amount of knowledge as you kind of go through the pages over the 8 hours, you realize spans millennia. This is not a book that was written by an individual. This was a book and a collection of pieces collected over thousands of years.
Hey Jordy, so I'm reading about races and stuff. Is there anything particular to furbolgs in it, or that I've gotten to yet?
Not that you've gotten to
Okay.
yet. Furbolgs being a relatively newer
Fair
race.
Let me know if I get to that point.
I wish.
I'd really like to know.
Do you want
So
Average
you
hog
have an
size
8-hour
dwarf.
period to read it before you
Yeah.
would need to take a rest.
Yeah, I'll do
You
that.
do have the option to not take a rest.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I might push it when we're in town.
Okay. Good to
That
know.
makes sense.
So, for your meditation.
Yeah. So I don't know if I'm doing this while we're doing watches or how
No,
it
this
works.
would be before.
So
It's
sorry,
just,
this is-
just a fast track. to the
Sorry,
book,
Okay.
because
I'll
that's what you
keep
want.
track of how much time. So this has been 6 of the 48 hours.
This has been 8 of the 48
8 of the
because you did
48.
first
Do we-
watch, but you didn't actually watch anything. You just read the book.
Cool.
Leave. Do we want to maybe like wait and we can spend a week in town?
I already started reading this.
Well, no, you could.
So it's
Like-
over a 6-day period. So
Oh, okay.
if you wanted to take 8 hours today and then you took a day off, you could restart the counter 3 days in. Kind of.
We do also
Well,
have
like-
2 days traveling on the road.
That's kind of the thing. I think I can. If you guys don't mind, I can really push this.
Yeah, suits me.
Okay.
Yeah, let's let Leaf do
Yeah.
Leaf.
Okay.
Yeah.
So bless your meditation.
Besides, I just started a great book.
So having felt a little bit frustrated not getting out of here and wanting to get this journey to its end, can I reach out to Ostilian and with all my might try to let me see or connect with Bolos in any way?
Go ahead and make a roll a d100.
Oh fuck.
Well, what?
Roll a
Yeah.
d100.
Hey,
You
y'all
don't
never,
have one,
Y'all
then.
never spoke to deities before?
Did you get one?
200. It's just
It's a
2d10s.
standard
Yeah.
roll.
It's just 2d10s,
Just
or you need a
2d10.
Yeah, that's
percentile
what I was
dice.
just gonna say. Just a
Yeah.
2
Percentile.
Never mind.
Or you're fully.
That one is just
That's not a D100. That's a D30.
Is it? Fuck.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
just roll these 2.
Yeah, you
Just
said
say
percentile.
one of
Yeah, you just find a big one.
percentile.
It's just a
I thought I
beach
had
ball.
percentile.
No, my mom got us
Nats has one.
D30s because she didn't know what like D&D. She's like, oh, they can use this. It's dice.
I'm trying to think what system uses D30s.
4.
So what's the
64.
10s?
64.
64.
Yeah.
Kind of push your mind out as best you can. This is very strange territory for you. Dragons are one thing. Meditation, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's not really coming naturally. Better part of 2 hours, you kind of just sit there, and then all of a sudden you realize that you're kind of tapping the ground with your toes and just really waiting for something to happen. Nothing does. First attempt of many, but you kind of get an idea of
Gotta roll it.
okay, well, whatever I'm doing now is not working, so that's about it.
Alright.
All right. And then Hope.
Yeah, well, I was gonna try and read this alongside, but considering it's a
like-
one-person
You
deal.
wouldn't get it, Hope. It's all good. I'll tell you all the good bits.
Whoa.
Give you the highlights.
Woo! And I storm
was
across
a
to
low
the other
crew dance.
side and see. I'm like, okay, this is not
Need a healing
improving
potion for
our
that, Brian?
relationship.
I'm like deep in the book. It's okay. I'll tell you later.
And I'm like,
Oh, I can't wait to tell Miriam about this.
I go over to see like Allura kind of trying to take bits of the obsidian, and I'm like, can I help? Can I try?
I'd love some help, Hope.
So with the greatsword, you kind of pull back, and in comparison to the fine detail work you've seen them try to do with iron spikes and hammers, and, try and get a little shaved piece off kind of find a nice corner that's got a little bit of an edge to it, and you just kind of rip the sword back and cleave into it. Go ahead and just make a strength check for me.
Just adding my strength
Just
onto
adding
the
your
roll.
strength, yeah.
21.
21. You cleave off a pretty sizable portion. You kind of catch a nice little edge where it looks like something was started already, and the blade sinks into that, and then you hear a large, sharp crack, and then it breaks off a chunk probably about that big. Very jagged edges. Even reaching down to pick it up, you kind of nick your finger a little bit. It is brutally sharp, but you're able to pick it up, and it weighs probably 10 pounds, 15 pounds.
Wow.
It's quite a substantial chunk. Unrefined, uncarved in any way. You would need to find a way of storing it safely, but you at least have it at this point. And you notice one of the chunks of the corner of the tablet is removed.
Okay. I'm like careful.
Thanks, Hope. I appreciate your help.
And you kind of just instinctively, it's
yeah.
a lot heavier than you expect it to be. Your hand's going to dip a little bit.
Yeah. I'm like glad to help. Glad to help somebody.
This is a hell of a book.
We're pretty much at the end of what we can fit into the
Into the sack.
the sack for weight.
Yeah.
You might have to
Yeah,
carry
that's-
that.
That's fine. I don't mind.
But we could put it
carrying
into the or store it somewhere in the
the wagon.
wagon once we
Cool
get outside.
paperweight.
Yeah. I'm gonna wrap it in my like set of fine clothes.
Sure.
Oh.
And you kind of like start to wrap it around, and you just hear instinctively as a series of rips and tears. But eventually you bundle it up to the point where you can pick it up and not risk cutting yourself.
Yeah.
But you know that the garments are essentially
Ruined.
destroyed, so you can
Yeah.
go ahead and mark those off.
Yeah.
By this point, we're coming close to the end of that time frame. Everybody beginning to start to rest up.
Yeah.
Vilnius kind of over in a corner, just slumped against the wall. Half
You do
asleep
you,
already.
Vilnius.
Where we drawing them?
Take some charcoal, draw a giant dick on his head.
Oh my
god.
Paint me like one of your French girls.
In stark comparison, though, Casimir, sleeping the same way that you do, but having that same decrepit, zombie-like look to him, and you notice he kind of sits down on the ground, the bones clack against each other, and little bits of skin slough off onto the ground. He's not looking well, but you can see there's still power in his eyes, and he just instinctively kind of stays awake. Stays up with you a little bit. Doesn't say anything, but eventually closes his eyes and begins his meditation, rest. Watches go by, no sound, no movement of any kind. The rod just stays in place on the other side of the door. Or sorry, on the inside of the door, I should say. You all wake up the following morning, rested. Half your hit dice rounded up. Half your used hit dice rounded up are returned to you. Spell slots returned. Anybody wanting to pick spells and you can do all that.
Half them.
Half of the used rounded up.
Okay.
So if you've used 3, you get 2 back.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
Cool.
And Vilnius kind of, at this point, just snoring, a little bit of drool sliding down the side of his face.
Can I just sort of sit by him and take the gigantic demon tooth that I have in my pack out and sort of play with it?
Can we tie his
Nonchalantly.
shoelaces together?
Like, wait for him to wake up.
I go
wearing-
dip his
he's
hand in warm water. so
He's
he
wearing
heals himself.
loafers.
Oh my god, he's
Like
got
fucking penny
Sperry's on.
loafers?
Yes.
Hey, let's not shit on penny loafers. Those are pretty fun.
Can I go through his bag?
Sure.
It's all like
Could make a sleight of hand check.
Actually, in the night, I would have told Allura about his necklace.
he's got like this thing. It's like
Because
wenches of
I feel like you
water
know
teeth.
a lot about nice things, and I would have been like, he's wearing some kind of pendant or chain. I saw it on her clothes.
Oh my.
Do we want to investigate that, or do we want to investigate his bag?
I mean, up to you what you think you can do. I don't care.
This poor guy.
I'm not
I'm
paying
staying
attention
out
to
of
this.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm done.
Bullying.
Hey, Les, you want to click that rod and get on our way?
I mean, we're not
Back
gonna
to
like.
the-
You
none of
this
you
is-
guys would have
no,
known this was
this is-
happening.
yeah.
This would have
Exactly.
happened on your watch, so you would have had a chance.
I would have maybe, if she took the watch after me, I would have like mentioned her in passing.
I'll say in passing, the knowledge came
He's
to
got a
you.
night.
Being who you are, kind of having an eye out for these things as well. I'll say that you instinctively noticed that there was a silver chain around his neck. And then he does have his pack and he has his book next to him as well.
Okay, I'll investigate the chain because Alith specifically I'll like see if I can kind of like.
So first things first, make a stealth check to get over there without him noticing.
14.
Oh,
He's
darn.
snoring and
This guy's
slobbering
like-
away down the side of his face, unfazed. So did he.
Good.
Yeah, he was at disadvantage. He rolled a 17 and a 2.
Okay.
You kind of very silently clamber up to him. There was a little bit of a creak, and you notice Elise's eyes shoot open for a second and look over at you. Her passive is high enough.
You know what's
and then
going
You
kind
know
of
what's
just
happening.
You know
"That's
what's
fine."
going on.
Close your eyes back again.
I'm like,
So,
whatever.
going
Haze
to
the
the
shit out of
chain
that
around his
guy.
neck.
I don't care.
Yeah.
One eye
I'm gonna
open.
see if I can just like.
One of the rip
You're
the
like
boat
human
patch.
men.
Yeah,
Look,
whatever.
looking at him from right now, there isn't a way to see the chain. It's covered by his clothes. You would kind of have to start to peel layers
Okay.
a little bit to be able to look at it.
Oh.
Okay, I don't want to take it off of him, but I just want to see it.
Okay. So go and make a sleight of hand check, we'll say.
He rolled a nat 1.
Okay. You rolled a natural 19. So you kind of go up next to him, and with how deep in slumber he is, you kind of expect that he's going to be fine. And then you just kind of like begin to peel the cloth away, and then he all of a sudden just kind of like and like traps your hand on the other side. As his hand- as his head
137
rolls over.
hours.
I'm not anywhere near you.
I'm
No, but
You're-
she's
you're
taking
pretending.
it for.
You're Vilnius.
And
Come on,
then
we're doing
he
a
just
bit.
kind of and
Oh my
looks
God.
at your hand, and you instinctively withdraw your
It's
hand.
your watch. It's your watch.
I didn't take any watches. What are you?
No,
What are
we
you talking
agreed.
about?
It's your watch.
Nice, dude. Nice.
That's a good save, actually.
That was
Yeah.
really good.
Make a deception check.
Hey.
I'll say with
Yeah.
disadvantage.
What? It's disadvantage.
I think
Great
that's pretty
one.
good.
Yeah. Are you Coyote Ugly right now, or were you?
Actually, you know what? Yeah, you're right. It wouldn't be with disadvantage. Reroll. It
Reroll.
wouldn't be with disadvantage. Or
Would-
you could take it with disadvantage if you like it.
15.
15? Okay. He's gonna be at disadvantage. He just woke up. He's just kind of like, I don't wanna.
This guy.
I
love
wanna sleep.
I love
And his
it.
head rolls
Okay.
back over to the other side.
Little
again.
frat boy.
And you can kind
Does
of
it
see
shift?
it shifts enough that you can catch the glint of a chain. It's a very, very fine silver chain.
Okay.
It does appear to be weighed down.
Says Pat.
So there's probably something on the end of it, but you're not sure what it is. And it would probably be sitting like center of his stomach kind of thing.
It's got a diamond encrusted Rick from Rick and Morty on it.
Oh my God, Pickle Rick.
I can just see the chain. There's no clasp. I can't see anything.
Appears to just be a chain.
Okay.
I wonder if you could sort of like hook your finger.
Okay, we'll
pull
do
it
the
out.
bathhouse episode. We'll find out
Yeah,
what's in there.
It's up to you. What is it you're doing?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Try and hook your finger in.
Yeah.
there?
I mean,
Okay. Go and make another sleight of hand check.
Wait, is he awake right now though?
No, he's
no, he's
He
went back?
pretty asleep.
He's started to go back to sleep. He's not there yet.
well.
It's his turn for a natural one.
Sleight of hand, you
Sleight
said?
of hand, yeah.
So 18.
18. You kind of hook your. You start to hook your finger under and realize it's not fine enough, and you just pull out a dagger and just kind of get it just underneath the edge of it, and you start to lift it. There's a bit of heft to it. That's about all you can really tell without really pulling it up. It's the
I mean, what's he gonna do? Yeah, I'm pulling it out.
Okay.
Yeah, as
So you
long as
just
he was
take
like-
the chain
Yeah,
and
he's
just
like-
pull it off.
Sure.
And then he goes.
So you just kind of
It becomes a
and like looks over and you
demon.
pull this chain out. So on the end of the chain is a fairly hefty amulet, shaped like an upside down V. Think of the Sparta symbol, same
Okay.
idea. Shining gold, just the amulet. The chain itself, silver, no
Okay.
clasps of any kind. And he just, hey, that's mine. What?
Finders keepers.
Just take me home.
I hate this guy so much.
Stephanie,
Stab.
John Robb.
Through the neck. Real quick.
Okay, he's just rolled over and got back to sleep.
He's essentially like pouting and like looking up at you like,
Just
that's
finished Parks and
mine.
Rec
You
last
took it
Oh,
from me.
So
This
good.
isn't fair, but you're getting me out of here, so I'm not gonna say anything. So
It's
just
not
Okay,
right
what-
to bully, guys.
what
let
is
me go
it?
back to sleep.
What do I? Okay.
We're
Yeah,
not,
straight.
we're not aware of
So
this.
I know, I'm just
so
saying,
instead
as a
of so
person.
normally you
Yeah.
imagine this would be some kind of a piece where it'd be like an oval
I
piece
mean,
or something piece with the symbol
completely
inlaid.
Yeah.
true.
It's just the
Valid.
symbol.
Yeah,
And it's
very much being pieces
hefty.
of
The
shit
chain
and
goes
stuff.
through it. It's kind of
I
a
didn't
loop
want
at the
it.
top, a hole that the chain passes through, but the chain is one piece. There doesn't appear to be a clasp of any kind to remove it, but it's long enough that it can fit around an head quite easily.
Okay. And like, there's no markings or anything.
It's just an upside down V.
Do I know if that's like a V? Do I recognize that symbol? Like,
No clue.
like from any sort
It's
of
not a
note?
letter. It's not anything that you're used to, even in all the languages that you've known. It's not a symbol from any of those languages. Based on the runes that you've seen, it doesn't appear to be a rune. It's just expensive. It's probably worth a couple thousand gold with the sheer weight of gold alone.
What is this?
I found it.
Found it where?
It was one of the things that we found. There's one of the rooms down in the bottom area. We found a couple of things, and then we came back upstairs because someone started casting spells at us, and he blocked some of them, but the other ones didn't actually get blocked, and it was just. And he starts to just fall asleep again.
Yeah, but all his friends
Am
died.
I like watching this through my?
I
I'm
feel like you would have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Elise,
Honestly,
what are you?
kind of like
curious
little
not
bits
to?
here and there,
Yeah.
because you're always conscious of what's happening
Yeah.
around here.
Trance doesn't make me. I'm not sleeping. I'm
You're
like
not sleeping.
tranced,
You're in
but
a trance. Yeah, you're essentially conscious of your surroundings.
okay.
So.
I'll like crack him. Like, okay, yeah.
Elise.
Do I recognize it at all?
You kind of out of the corner of your eye just look and go. You have no clue.
It looks expensive. Did he say that it blocked spells?
Did he say that the necklace blocked spells? No, he said that one of his.
Compatriots.
That's Jakarian found.
Okay. I mean, seems special enough for them to take it, and I don't know if that's just because it's valuable. It's very valuable.
Let's ask Doctor about it in the morning.
Okay.
Give it back to him if it can't be useful to us. If
Okay.
it can, maybe we take it as payment for the journey
And
the protection.
yeah, I think that we'll just investigate it because everything here seems to have double-edged sword. Is a lot of what we found. So
I wonder if it's had any effect on him in the days that he's been wearing it since he found it.
that's what I'm worried about. I'm not going to put it on. Okay. I'll just
It's actually just
Let's pocket it.
yeah.
Okay, good to know.
It's just a sick piece from King Eyes.
Gets entrenched like Kevin
So,
Garnett.
waking up the following morning, nothing transpiring over the course of the evening aside from that. You can see that he's looking put out, for lack of a better term, just like these people came in, they offered to free him, and then
It was
they
like
disappeared for an hour, and they came back and they said, no, we're spending the night here, and then he had to sit in a corner with no
poor
food, and then
baby.
he had his necklace stolen
we
in the middle
woke
of
him
the
up
night.
and
He's just
But
generally
I mean,
annoyed
to be
in
fair,
that like hoity-toity way of being
We're
annoyed.
being deeply shitty to this guy whose friends died.
Are you telling me when we woke up and we put soap in our socks and beat him
Yeah.
from Full Metal Jacket style that wasn't warranted?
It wasn't soap, it was chunks of animal.
Yeah. Private Pile. Come on, Private Pile.
I'll give him some of my.
Yeah, I just
some
thought
rations
bullying
and
was
water.
great.
Give him some rations to start the day with.
Thank you, I really appreciate this.
You're welcome.
Okay, shall we wanted to hit the road?
Right, shall we make our way out then?
Yes, let's get out of here.
Okay, so let's click the thing, scan the hallway.
Clicko.
Zippity zip.
Hallway opens, no sound of any kind. You look across, you can see one of the arrow slits. All three flame skulls have reappeared on the other side.
Cool, let's move.
But we can.
Cool.
They're on the other side of the hole.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
you can make your way out in the hallway, come down the side. no
Right.
issues.
Okay.
You do know as well, though, there are at least 3 flame skulls in the area below where that hole is.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to pass by that, so you do have to be quiet going around that corner. But that's the
Can-
only thing to be wary of.
Can we relay that to?
Phileas.
And
You know
Casimir.
yeah. No, Casimir would have known.
Casimir knows.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's
Casimir
been
was
with you
with
the
us
whole
last
time.
time.
Casimir's legend.
We're going to be leaving the temple.
There's also bones.
There's an area that we're passing that has, one of those big green flames.
Yes, the flame skulls. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know about them.
Okay. Silence from you.
Okay, silence from me.
Oh my god.
This guy.
And he
Anyone
just
want
kind of
any?
like does the
got a
prancy
s-
silence
I
thing
feel
as if he's
more
like
for this guy
making
than I
fun
feel
of
for
you for telling him to be
Casimir.
quiet. But
It's
he
a little
does
more
become
relatable.
silent, so I'll get everybody roll stealth checks for me.
Big money.
Hey,
no
natural
way.
20.
Hey.
He's mine.
That's right, he natural 20.
Yankees.
Yeah, he's,
The
he's
fear
literally
of
on his
Lyra put the
tiptoes.
fear of God into him.
Yeah.
Oopsie.
17.
17.
Somebody eat the last
Loading.
carrot.
What are we
Loading.
doing? Stealth. Stealth. 13.
At disadvantage?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
15.
Just don't want to take this home.
Less.
19.
19.
25.
Okay.
just
As a
caught
group,
up in the-
kind of passing your way through, Casimir stumbles a little bit, and you and, weirdly enough, Vilnius kind of reach out and grab him, and then put him back on his feet, and then begin to make your way back up
Told
to the
you.
front. You start to climb the staircase to step out into the cold. Nothing seems to assault you of any kind, and you are officially outside of the Ember Temple. Your wagon waiting before you. Cinnamon still standing guard outside.
Can I just like run up to Cinnamon and kind of
Yeah, and just like the big, heavy nuzzle of the snout coming down, and the kind of like soft scraping of teeth on your back a little bit.
Horse
Almost.
tiefling.
I'm like, yeah.
It is bright and
Hey
early.
friends.
You do notice that that looking up along the path, Rohan's body is gone.
Oops.
I'm not surprised.
You had brought it inside as well. You'd seen the blood and carried it inside, but you do notice that there is an additional trail of blood that is leading out from the entrance to the Ember Temple. And you kind of instinctively look into the room where his body was, where you had left it, and there's a big pile of blood, and the fox body is still there, but his body is not. There are no bloody footprints, but there is a trail of blood, as if somebody had picked it up and carried it out.
I relay that to the team. So perhaps next time we see Strahd, we might see a reanimated version of this.
Cool.
Oh, that's
Asshole.
shitty.
So
Well, at least his sword's not there.
That's
Or
true.
sword or
you do
whatever.
still have his sword.
Mm-hmm.
You've accrued quite the trove of items that are sitting waiting to be done.
Can
So,
we hit?
Yeah.
to
Is
the-
Marigold still there with Cinnamon?
Marigold is still there with Cinnamon,
Okay,
yeah.
just wanted to
I say
double
hi to
check.
Marigold.
You see me and Cinnamon and you're
I'm
like,
like, I want a
Had
horsey
we-
blonde.
Have we hidden our
Yeah,
cart
we
at
kind of
all?
tucked it.
We
You
took it as much as
tucked
we
it a
could.
little
Daddy
bit, but it's a
wagon.
pretty
Okay.
wide open area. Essentially,
yeah, we
it's a
couldn't
giant
really do
It's got
much.
one
Yeah.
pond
So
front.
you kind of had it down along the side, the closest
Yeah.
little corner you could have it.
Did
Okay.
our sentry
The
camp-
caravan appears to be unscathed.
That's interesting that someone would have come and gotten rope something, whatever his name is.
I mean, do we not just think it was Strahd coming to fetch his
That makes total sense to me.
servant?
Right, but you'd think that he'd want to inhibit.
I think our caravan would have been beneath his notice, honestly.
I
Like
think if
he's
Strahd wanted to fuck with us, he would have fucked with us.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Shall we
Okay.
make a move to the tower? Like
Yeah.
the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You read your book, buddy. We got this.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Hop
Yeah,
in the
you're
back and I
gonna sit
crack
in.
it open.
Okay.
So it is fairly early in the morning. We'll say you head off by 8 o'clock or so. It is a long journey to make your way back. You could push it to try and hit Kraysk by nightfall if you wanted to spur the horses on a little bit. But with the number of you, what's happening with Vilnius, by the way? Is he accompanying you?
Sure.
or-
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's our new best friend.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
in that case, there's going to have to be 3 people who are walking. So
Only as he's walking.
Yeah.
Can you be at the front helping
yeah.
me to
So the one thing
handle?
with him is he doesn't have any clothes for walking in the cold.
Yeah.
that's
But he
just
just kind of
really
like
too
pulls out his
bad.
book and just kind of ruffles through and ends up casting some spells, and you know as he
Well,
starts
he'll be
He
protected
pulls
by the
out
hot
his, like,
cinnamon to a
hand
degree.
We're
won't he?
protected by extreme cold, but
It's not
He's
comfortable.
still cold.
He's still freezing cold. He's just not being hurt because of it.
He's got the hand warmer.
Exactly. But through casting spells and kind of warming himself up here and there, he's complaining nonstop, but
This
he's at
fucker.
least moving.
I mean, he's
who
walking
is
outside
in
with
the
nothing
caravan
on. I don't blame
So
him.
in the
I'd be
caravan would be
complaining.
Leaf because you
I
definitively.
have seen Casimir.
I'll say you were able to get 12 hours of reading done in that.
Sure.
Kind of with breaks and everything,
Yep.
12 hours is about the extent you can really do in a
Yep.
day. You would be able to make it back. It's pushing evening. Nightfall's.
Before that,
Oh, yeah, sorry.
before we get, can I pull the duck aside?
Mhm.
So Aleth noticed that our friend
Mhm.
was wearing a necklace that
Okay.
she thought was maybe suspicious. And I'll kind of pull it out.
Mhm.
So he found this in the temple.
Do I
And I
recognize the
think-
symbol?
You don't. It is not an arcane symbol. It's not anything that you're used to seeing.
Arcane
It's
symbol?
just a very strange, perfectly cut upside down V, but without the little pieces. Essentially, it's just a perfect
Raven
2/3 of a triangle.
May I take a look at that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
I would have. Yeah.
Anything, any like arcanity to it? Any runes? Any?
Make an Arcana check. For me.
Sure.
I don't want to interrupt Leaf.
No. Don't
Now,
you?
if we don't need
Nat
to.
20.
Oh,
Nice.
Which is a 30 with my arcana.
30. Okay.
that's the fourth one. Smart.
Yeah, I'm doing great on these.
Yeah.
These are my boys.
Yeah.
My boys.
Just like the kings.
There are no runes on it, but it's arcane. There's something about it that's kind of radiating a presence. You kind of like flip it from hand to hand. You kind of instinctively like hold it up a little bit, and you kind of feel like a dull thud when you hold it up in the air, and then you kind of pull it back down again, and then do it in this. You have no idea what it does.
Can I take a moment and try and hit a mental link with my patron that she might have some idea of what this might be?
Roll a d100.
Here it goes. 65. 65.
65.
65.
You kind of call out internally, meditate a little bit, holding the piece, and you kind of instinctively are just lifting it, feeling that rhythmic thud as you lifted it up. Doesn't appear to be any response.
That's fair. We are in Barovia.
Could use the book on it if we wanted to. There's only
We have
page
one.
left.
We have one charge left on the book.
We can go get more pages.
We are going back into town. Do you want me to? Do you want me to do a thing on the thing?
Well, do you think it's
There's
I mean,
something. There's something to this.
okay?
There's something to it. I'll say with a 30, the nature of it is very specific.
I see.
It's a certain action that results in a certain effect.
I see.
But whatever that thud isn't doing anything that you can notice. You try placing it on different things, moving it around the caravan, stepping outside, holding it up in the air. It's just always the same.
Can
I see.
tell me what you're holding it? Can I try doing that and see if I feel? I
feel
feel
the
it
same
as well.
I don't think it's got any. I feel like if there was any concept of it doing anything of any great importance to us, I would probably know.
You would expect to see multiple runes. You would expect to be able to get the nature of what the item is. With this having no real specific nature, you're not.
Okay.
You're not
Yeah, like maybe it's I don't know. Maybe it's like a clapper for the Amber Temple. You know, you just hold it up and the lights go up.
Something like that.
I mean, the lights were on.
I don't mind if you want to identify it. I mean, we're going back to town. We can
What?
buy more books. I don't mind if you want to identify it.
It's
Well,
up to you
we
guys.
don't know, and also whether you would choose to
I
share
will-
with the rest of the party about
I
you
will
taking that and
Ask
doing it.
Allura distinctly. Do you want me to identify it, or try to?
I mean,
We got one page where we can get more pages, and we're just
yeah, I
making
don't
a
think
beeline
it's,
back to town.
I don't think it's imperative that we know about it right now. But I think it'll be good to know what it is and if it's useful to us. This Brad outside. Don't care that he has it, so
I mean, he didn't. Okay, here's my thinking with this. So, he's pretty wizardy. He's got some wizardy things to him. Chances are, identify as a wizardy sort of spell. If he,
Casimir might know that.
yeah, Casimir might know.
know, but I feel like if this had any like grand arcane power, he, Vilnius and his team might have figured it out.
Yeah. Is Casimir around?
He's in the back.
He's alternating between being in the caravan
Okay.
and walking.
Casimir, do you have the ability to identify magical items?
Unfortunately, this is not something that I possess. We could ask to see our friends in the book. There's a chance that I could use his book and be able to identify something for you. Or, of course, ask him to do it.
Yeah. Hey, Vilnius? Do you have the ability to identify magical items? I'm gonna stick my head out.
He's
He's
just
like-
kind of like Unfortunately, this is not something that I am particularly able to do. Plus, my fingers are a little numb.
Yeah, if you were inside the caravan, could you do it?
He wants to lie.
I'm smiling at him really creepily. Oh, I bet you are.
No.
Okay, thanks.
You know what? I have a spare pair of traveler's clothes. So I'm gonna pop out and give him the clothes. I feel bad for this guy.
And you can see that he like just wraps them around himself and like tucks his arms in
There you
like
go,
under his
buddy.
elbows and
There you
everything,
go.
just really trying to. I really appreciate you doing this for me.
Mhm.
It is not the warmest outside right now.
No, it is not. And I am.
I feel as if my I feel as if parts of me are going to drop off.
I bet. I am.
Casimir falls apart.
I apologize for the hazing the rest of the party seems to be doing to you. We're not all so uncouth.
Well, you seem like a very agreeable fellow. If we are ever to make it out of here, make sure that you stop by the school in Daggerford. I'm sure that the masters there will be able to provide you with some kind of compensation.
Appreciate it, Vilnius.
And he just kind of like begins conjuring like little bits of fire in his hands to try and warm his hands up a little bit, and sets the robe alight a little by accident and kind of pats it out. And
I love him. He's such a fucking klutz.
Cool.
What a guy.
alrighty.
Moving.
So moving on, progressing through the day, nothing transpires. No sign of the rock overhead. The storm begins to lessen as you begin to make your
What
way
about off the turnbuckle?
winding down.
I'm so
inside
glad
the
to be out
mountain.
here.
Eventually hitting that same bridge over the Cylinder Pass. The gargoyles in front of you. You finally reach the green flamed wall.
I'll pop out and dispel that.
Dispel magic, no issues at all.
Cool.
Magic dispels for a minute, slowly beginning to come back together. You do notice now that that same wall, the functionality of it coming back together, is very similar to the way that the flame skulls kind of come back together over a period of time. So
Cool.
kind of an interesting thing that
Okay.
lends the thought that the flame skulls, being magic users of some kind, were once potentially mages
Okay.
that may have created the wall. So, kind of an interesting thought process.
But they did need no education.
God damn it.
So, pushing your way through on the other side, it's beginning to get very close to evening. You've got about 2.5 hours of travel left. It would put you close to midnight to try and push on to Krask if you wanted to just continue on.
I'm okay with that.
Or you would be able to hole yourselves up inside one of the guard towers as you did before.
I
It's up
think
to you.
I think
pull
let's just
ourselves
go-
up.
Okay. Whatever.
I think it's safer to not kind of push our
Fade.
journey too far.
That's true. If Strahd pops out, or I'm deep in a good read. Don't want that thrown off my vacation.
Okay. So,
I don't mind either way, you guys.
Yeah, I don't care either way.
so what?
What do we decide?
Let's just hold
I'll
up here.
If
I'd
Hope would
rather
rather
push
stay,
on. But
then
yeah, I don't care.
let's
I don't have a
vote.
strong enough opinion.
Let's vote
Okay.
okay.
Vote to stay?
for staying.
So,
I'm honestly so neutral that if one person cares enough to make that
Let's
call,
just
then
go. Let's just go to Krask.
Yeah.
I'm good to go to
Okay.
Grace.
Go on to Krask.
Yeah.
Are we pushing it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Can I be reading the whole time then?
And you've kind of expended
Okay.
the 12 hours at this point. Your eyes are exhausted. It's a difficulty holding it open. The most you can really read in a day is about 12 hours.
Just check.
So you are doing well though. 20 hours of reading in 2 days is not bad.
Bloodshot.
Almost there, buddy.
Oh,
You
don't have
re-
magic
Leaf essentially
Adderall.
just looks up and you can see like the
Yeah.
pustules inside his eyes.
at this
been a
point
fucking
I'll
long
be
one.
like, hey, Vilnius, switch me, and I'll go out and walk for a little bit.
Can I? Yeah, I was gonna say if I hit my max, can I get out of the walk as well?
And he like instinctively begins to cast produce flame in the center of the caravan and then just kind of like, oh,
Hey.
wood, and then stops.
Fucking
But
hilarious.
and back inside, Leaf, your eyes are shot at this point. You kind of instinctively get up and want to stretch your legs, and you hear the heavy cracks of your legs as you stand up.
Can I cast lesser restoration of myself?
Restore those bones.
Yeah.
So
I was gonna say like a lesser
Mending.
restoration for my Visine, but
So 4 people riding inside the caravan. Who are those 4? So Vilnius is 1,
I'll stay in
Probably
the caravan.
Casimir.
Casimir 2, Doctor 3. Who's the 4th?
I can stay outside. I don't know.
I
At
think
least really
you're-
prefers to be
I
outside.
think you're up front with me, aren't
Yeah,
you?
I am. I'm helping Hope with the
So
horses.
in that case, it'll be Allura because Leaf's
I don't think Allura would want to be inside with Vilnius. Maybe.
Yeah, I
Okay, we'll say
really
you and Leaf
don't.
trade off a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
bit. Once you allow Vilnius inside, the 10 seconds of him trying to cast Produce Flame, you're like, fuck, Leaf! And he just pulls back.
No, yeah, I wouldn't have. I would have like.
Yeah, as he came
Left,
in, just
yeah.
left. Okay.
Oh.
So you would be outside, Hope you would be driving, and then you would be riding shotgun. Okay, so you'd be the one person outside. I'll get you 3 to make perception checks for me as night begins to set
that's how
in.
we die.
This is how 100% how we die.
Oh no, Rick is buzzing caravan.
Fuck.
Circling.
Exactly how we die.
12.
12,
9,
9,
16.
16. Rick, perception.
Get it, Rick.
Oh boy.
Rick's-
17.
Our eyes in the sky.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Cinnamon.
No, cross it. Cinnamon is focused on not falling off the trail. Yeah, pushing more than 8 hours on a horse on the
Wow.
tough side. So, I'll get you actually to roll a Constitution saving throw for me for what's the second?
Marigold?
Marigold.
Marigold?
Yeah.
Me?
Because
Do I-
so con save
into it?
for a riding horse 5e is yeah, we're close to wrapping up here, folks. +1.
7.
7.
This horse just died.
Weariness begins to set in. You can hear the braying of the horse as it's trying to stop, but Cinnamon pushing onwards. Just start to make the extra 2.5 hours. You get about an hour in or so, and then Doctor inside your head. You hear Rick just kind of Dak.
Yeah, buddy.
There's some in the moon.
There's something in the moon.
And you kind of like peek your head out a little bit and look up, and you see the moon is there.
Yeah.
But it's obscured by a slight humanoid figure.
Oh fucking
Wonder
god.
who that could be.
And that's where we're gonna wrap up this week's
Oh my god.
So still about an hour and a half outside of place. And you're not sure what's gonna happen, but looking
Yeah,
up there
we've got
appears to be
but
a
we're-
figure floating in the air
A sad horse.
directly between you and the moon, as if to illuminate itself.
Fucking god.
We
I hate this stupid anime nerd.
He's going
would have
down.
been
Don't worry about it.
Correct.
Right
Everybody's
there,
at full
okay.
hit points, full spell
Yeah.
slots, except for what you've expended. So you're in the best shape possible. But
I had
Floating
gotten
moon men.
fit
We got Vilnius with
by.
us.
You just throw
long
him
rest
into it.
cures it.
Okay, okay.
Why are we
so
all so
that-
mean to Vilnius?
Why do you care so much all of a sudden?
know.
You've been a black
A rather
hearted bastard this whole
interesting
time.
end.
Okay, deeply untrue. I forced us to rescue children.
A rather interesting end to the episode.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. You know, you all had a habit of going in and consistently staying inside overnight. This is one of the first experiences you've had pushing past dusk outside. So it's an interesting one to say
Yeah.
the least.
Yeah. I mean, I could say
Told
many
you so.
Just
Yeah.
not a black
Emma
hearted
could say
political,
that they told us
political
so.
intrigue trying to
Oh, yeah.
smash organizations.
Oh yeah.
But they're not gonna.
upside down.
No, because they're
Spreading
above
rumors.
that kind of shit, but they could.
Allura's
You know-
outside and she has the sword, so.
Yeah, I'm not concerned.
Yeah, can't
And
we just
also
bust
your
daylight
sword
and be like,
will
fuck
give
off?
you
Yeah.
if we're
I also have some spells for my arrows now.
You know
So-
who else is above us? Strahd.
But guys, you know what? There is someone else above everyone else. He's a carpenter. He has some crazy
Yes.
ideas.
Wait, how do we know this isn't Dom?
Tom Toretto?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm in.
Family.
Firmly.
Our new
So-
friend is drunk.
We are taking a break next week because our lovely hosts are headed off to fucking Disneyland because they're so goddamn cool being those adults. It's true. We all want to go to Disneyland.
Yeah.
No,
Galaxy's Edge.
it's true. It's just more
Wait,
their
are you
matching
going-
dancing was
Have
so
you guys
freaking cute.
Seen the video of a woman yelling at a young adult couple at Disneyland because they are millennials who are ruining it for her children.
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
Please be those adults.
Millennials
Absolutely.
are ruining Disneyland for her children.
For her children.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, we will be
Millennials don't get
Disneyland
anything, do we?
next week. So
Yeah, so next week we're off. The week after that, we'll come back to this interesting encounter.
This motherfucker.
See exactly what's going to be happening here. 'Cause, he's just hanging out.
Just a crazy moon man.
We're just gonna talk to him the whole way.
You know
Yeah.
what? Probably.
Man in the moon.
Alrighty, so thank you everybody so much for watching. We
Thanks,
appreciate you
y'all.
tuning in. Happy 2020.
Yeah.
Because it's officially the new year.
Did we break the thing? No. Yes?
We did.
Yeah!
We actually, we have a milestone, which is super exciting. We've had a goal of hitting 100 followers in a 30-day period. We've never broken
shit!
it.
Oh, what the fuck?
In a 30-day period, we've never gotten more than 100 followers in that consecutive time. And today we started at 97, thanks to Kevin on Twitter. Posting up saying we were a couple short. We're now at 104.
Oh shit! Oh, awesome!
But we've had 2 weeks off as
And I was
well.
gonna say, so as an reward, we're gonna take next week off.
Yeah.
See ya!
Thanks
all we
for following
wanted.
us. We're gonna
Now we're
have an
done.
absolute
Actually,
lack
though,
of
as a real
content.
reward, there will be an event happening at some point where we are going to do a proper battle royale.
Yes.
Are you saying the foot
It's going to be a level 9 battle royale, 1v1v1v1v1, or whatever you decide it to be.
Also, and we're gonna have that giveaway with Adventure Days coming
Yes,
up soon.
we are. Good one.
End of January.
Shit.
Yeah, that one's exciting.
Keep an
You
eye out.
also-
And we had a giveaway that we were doing.
Oh, we're gonna extend that.
Oh, we're extending it.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Never mind.
Also, later this month, guess whose champagne birthday hits
Ooh, exciting.
with Dicecream.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
So
turning
that's-
28 on the 28th, which is a Tuesday, baby.
That's very
That's exciting.
gonna get you some champagne.
Really? I don't know if I've ever had proper champagne.
Oh, I mean, I'm
I
not
like
that
Prosecco.
bougie.
Getting a bottle of bourbon.
Your
Yeah.
best sparkling wine.
Yeah,
I will
We've
take.
got Soda Stream.
I will take some sparkling cider
Sparkling
happily.
cider. Prosecco.
Amazing.
We'll get some nice
Amazing.
Prosecco.
Oh my
So,
god!
thank you so much everyone for watching. Have a great 2020, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.
No kings.